morning, everyone. We are live.
Yes, we are. It is Sunday morning. Nova, thank you so much for that outstanding intro. Guys, we are so excited about this episode here. There's a lot of stuff to talk about, and we just kind of touched on it on Friday's Crossfire. And now to be able to sit here and kind of dive through the articles that have been coming out over the past 24 to 48 hours and get into it right now. Guys, I see a great amount of people here in the chat. Please do tweet it out. Let everybody know. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Let everybody know you love the Mooch and the Crap Gamer and the Nova Insomniacs. That being said, Crap Gamer, listen, how the hell are you doing this morning?
You know, I'm doing pretty good. It's a wet, rainy day here in Florida.
It's sunny in New York, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, we also got like WrestleMania happening down in Tampa, and they're outside in the outside stadium and Raymond James, and and it's raining on, and it rained on them too. So yeah, it's very interesting. It's supposed to be like rainy all day and stuff like that. But yeah, there was a lot to talk about. So I was like, yeah, we definitely don't want to miss out on what's going on and stuff like that. Make sure you guys, when you filter in, share it out and let people know. And hit the like button. Dang, man, you guys are you're so stingy with that like button.
It doesn't take that much effort, please. It really helps the show out. Nova, how you doing this morning, buddy? The other Nova.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Chevy Nova. I'm doing great this morning. Had a long, a late night last night, but I'm here for M&C show as always.
Well, I had a feeling that Nova had something going on because whenever I reach out in the morning, I'm like, guys, M&C's looking good. We're ready to go. Nova's usually right there with a thumbs up or something. Didn't hear from Nova for about an hour and a half after the DM I sent out. And I said, this guy's probably pickled. He definitely had some drinks last night. Nova, definitely. Was it an exciting night out in the the young and freelance world of Nova Insomniacs?
Of course. My friend came down from New York and, went out close to my house, had a couple Long Island, so... As you can imagine, you know how I'm feeling this morning, but I'm here.
You're feeling great. That's how you're feeling.
I got 2 espressos in me right now. I'm ready to rock and roll.
That's what I'm talking about. Well, listen, guys, like Crap said earlier, do please hit that like button. Please do tweet it out. Let everybody know we are live. We haven't been as consistent as we like to be. We also had, the Easter holiday last week. And the week before that, Nova was traveling. Listen, it happens. Sometimes it's scheduled. Sometimes it's me. Sometimes it's Crap. Sometimes it's Nova. So we haven't been as on time as usual. But every Sunday moving forward, we will have the M&C show between 11:30 and noon. You guys know how we do it. Crap, I don't know where you want to kind of start today. The one that I was thinking is this Counterpunch that's rumored to be coming down the pipeline. And I have an article here from, I believe it's Comic Book Gaming. And if I'm saying it wrong, I apologize. It's comicbook.com.
It's the David Jaffe quote thing.
Is it? Well, it's saying here. Well, this one here that I have in front of me, it says it was done. I don't know how to pronunciate the insider's name, Ed, and it was from the Xbox Era podcast. But it was, shout out to the Xbox Era podcast and all those guys. It says here, according to the insider, PlayStation won't model their subscription service after Xbox Game Pass, but more like the Apple One. In other words, rather than offer a subscription service with a vast library of games, it's going to combine various different offerings into one package. Speaking of this, the insider then said, basically, and if I'm saying it wrong, guys, please do correct me. Is it Funimation or Funimation? He goes Sony Pictures Entertainment movies and either PlayStation Plus or PlayStation Now into one larger package. So you can clearly see that they're trying to do movies, TV, anime, and gaming all in one. Crap. That's what I'm reading here. What do you think? Is that a way to kind of say, listen, Game Pass is doing what it's doing, but this is how we're going to attack it? Do you think is that enough?
I mean, I think what Sony could do, they could do something like that. But then I think the smart thing to do would be get some high profile third party stuff in there, start snapping out some dollar deals. You know what I mean? Well,
they're going to have to, right?
Yeah, exactly. Let's just be real. Game Pass hasn't been what I'd consider to be anything great or breathtaking the last couple of years because Microsoft themselves haven't put out anything big in a couple of years. So it's really just been kind of there and the quote unquote value. But I think that the main difference is because I looked at both. I'm not subscribed to PlayStation Now. I did the dollar deal. I did the dollar deal with Game Pass. But the main thing that I've noticed was that Xbox 10, even the indie games and the smaller games, tends to get day and date titles, right? And I think that's probably the biggest thing. It's kind of a big deal because PlayStation Now gets Avengers, right? But what if it would have got Avengers day one? You know what I mean? Like,
Well,
I think that's something that they're missing. If they could get stuff like that down, maybe, you know, put MLB The Show in their show. You know what I'm saying? Some of that stuff, because I feel like they're going to make more money. Just imagine the money they could make if they did put the show in there. If that game usually sells a couple million, they're going to get a lot more than that with microtransactions and all that kind of stuff. So I feel like, you know, they can do it. They can get away with doing that kind of stuff. And it's very important to sort of have that competitive kind of thing going between Microsoft and Sony. I don't think they need to go day and date with their big exclusives. Just to me, I like, listen, I know people think I'm crazy or whatever. We have nothing to really compare what's going to happen when Microsoft's big AAAs go into Game Pass day and date, except for what we've already seen with the likes of Gears 5. And I did not like what I saw, right? They very casualized it, you know, charged, you know, a ton of microtransactions. You know, we'll have to wait and see with Halo. But what if that's a case where it's like another type of situation where you're paying attention, which they've already confirmed microtransactions, okay? But what if that story's not even complete? What if it's just, you know what I'm saying? And it looks like they're going to just really treat it like a games as a service. And they're going to do the same thing with Forza. Like, if you have to do that and have a bunch of microtransactions, I would just rather buy the freaking game, to be honest with you, and not have any of that garbage. It's almost like playing a free game on the phone and then having to sit through ads. Right? Like, that's what it sort of reminds me of. So, yeah, I'm definitely, you know, a little suspect on what's going to happen with the big first-party stuff.
Well, and think about it, though, crap. Can we just take a look at that one part of the rumor, though? If Sony puts its movies in there, I mean, that's something. You can't dismiss that. I mean, Disney Plus is built on that. Think about it. We've got The Mandalorian, right? Yeah. We've got Falcon and the Winter Soldier and WandaVision. Those are the three things that have come out new from Disney Plus since the service has been launched, okay, that we have not put our eyes on. Everything else is what Disney owns in there. Star Wars, Marvel, okay, their beloved Disney store movies from ages and ages back. My point being is that Sony has quite the catalog. So all of a sudden, now you're going to get all the, this is all hypothetical, by the way, guys, all the PS Now games, okay, that won't be streaming. They'll be download, okay, so you'll be able to download them right to your console. Then you're going to get all the PlayStation, all those Sony movies that they have out there. It'll be the Spider-Mans at the minimum, right? Other things are going to be in there. And then, listen, I got news for you. You know, I got kids. They love it. Like, the anime stuff is blowing up, crap. It's always been big. Now it's bigger. So they throw that in there. That's not something that necessarily gets me to run there. But guess what? There's people who definitely would subscribe to that. And then you're talking about this. They're going, and I said this, I firmly believe that whatever PS Now or whatever they're going to rebrand that as, that goes as the Counterpunch, they're going to do deals like Outriders. They're going to do deals like you saw with MLB. They're going to have third-party games, not the highest caliber. That speaks for Xbox and PlayStation. But they're going to have day-and-date third-party releases in there as well. Not to mention the indies. So that's what I think that's a decent Counterpunch. And they're able to do the Counterpunch with their movies and not their first-party games day and date. They don't need to do that yet. They just don't. People say Sony does need to do that. They just don't, folks. They have the recipe. They have an ability to create a blockbuster first-party game, and it sells millions. And then they'll throw that into that service crap 12 months down the line. Double dip. Why not?
I agree. Yeah. I think that's probably going to be the smart. Doing that with like the PC stuff, like, you know what I mean? And I think that from a business perspective is pretty smart. They clearly were going to have to come up with something like, like I've said, and like you've said, it doesn't make much sense to do the day and date big third party stuff. But there are other stuff. Like, it's not like they're not doing anything. Like, they just released that Oddworld game. They download it. Like, I downloaded it. I haven't played it, but you know.
So this is now just quick crap. I hate to interrupt you. Nova, is crap sound volume all right?
Yeah, crap. Your mic's a little bit low. I
think you have to fix your mic, crap. It might have went in and out, or you have to plug it back in, or something like that. Something we lost because you were there, but you were very faded.
I was very faded. Can you hear me now?
You are back and as great as ever.
Oh yeah, you're good.
Great. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Go ahead. Do you mind restating what you just said?
Yeah, I was just saying that it doesn't make much sense for Sony to go the day and date model, but they do have some games that they've been releasing, like Bug Snacks and some of the smaller stuff like Oddworld. So I think that's a very smart way to counter things, where you don't have to put your Last of Us 2s or your God of Wars in there. And I think they've been very smart with the way that they've kind of handled
Outworld,
that.
Oddworld got kind of got shafted a bit, because here they were like, hey, we're going to put another new PS5 game in there, but then Game Pass does go ahead and put Outriders in, and clearly there's much more hype behind Outriders than something like an Oddworld Soulstorm. Shout out to LP Sleazy, said sold everything that I own and packed the rest of my bags into my SUV on a one-way trip from Chicago to Austin, Texas for a new beginning. Great podcast. LP Sleazy, thank you so much. Cool Hand Cruz says Sony is going to take the Disney Marvel blueprint and use their IPs to do it. Exactly. And shout out to the great Cool Hand Cruz for assisting me with that fantastic thumbnail today. Cool Hand Cruz is a very talented individual. The great Basement Radio Arcade podcast, Brap, who joined me in a bit of Outriders this morning. He says, hey, Mooch, crap, woo! So shout out to the great Brap there. And I think I may have even, if I missed a super chat, I will go back and look for it. I don't see one, but I might have missed one. If I did, I will catch it before. But I think that's the key thing with Cool Hand saying, and also what you're saying, Crap. That's the thing we have to kind of think. Sony has their own weapons. They don't need to carbon copy what Microsoft's doing and then just do their version of it. I don't think they need to do that. But do you think the movies they have to do something outside of the wheelhouse of Game Pass? Is the movies enough?
Maybe for their fan base.
Right.
You know what I mean? I have no interest in that kind of stuff.
So that's not enough to get you to subscribe.
I don't care I don't really care about Funimation or any of that kind of stuff.
Right.
I mean, if you're mixing PlayStation Now with PlayStation Plus,
yes,
then I think you're onto something. You know what I mean? I think
that's going to be there.
Yeah, I think at that particular juncture, you're definitely onto something, right? That would be the smartest thing you could do, and I really do think that that they might do something like that, because if you look at what they're doing with PlayStation Plus, it's really a good thing that they're doing. Look, they have the PlayStation Plus collection, which is over 20 great games already. So they're already onto something. The PlayStation monthly offerings are already crapping all over what Microsoft has. So why not go ahead and and do something? Do something like that. I think that would be the smartest thing they could do. And I think that way, look, if you're converting people that are already paying for PlayStation Plus to this new thing, and you bundle PlayStation Now with that, guess what? You've got 50 million all of a sudden PlayStation Now subscribers, buddy.
That's right.
Right?
That's right. That number moves
think
right
about
over.
that. Yeah. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy how that works. So yeah, I think that absolutely that's something that they could do, and I think that they probably will do something like that. That's kind of what Microsoft wanted to do, right? When they raised the price of gold 100%,
yes,
they were hoping everybody, would have just switched over.
That's right. That's 100% right. That's the thing. Why wouldn't you though? Crap. Why would you pay $120 for just gold? Wouldn't you want to pay the extra $60 and get gold and all those incentives in all those games and xCloud if it interests you, even if it doesn't interest you? So that was
100%.
Listen. I think that's coming down the pipe regardless. Shout out to Game Trailers. He says, "What's up, Mooch and Crap Gamer? My arch nemesis." Left my ass off. Shout out to Game Trailers. Great to see him here. Appreciate the support, buddy. I got to be honest with you, Crap. I want to tie in what we're talking about here with the Counterpunch, and also kind of get into the whole Bloomberg article. And we touched base on it. And Nova, feel free to chime in as well. I mean, you were on the show on Crossfire Friday, and it really got quite the discussion. Oh, yeah. I personally understand everything that came in the article. I read the article 2 or 3 times. I went over it. I highlighted some things that I thought were maybe troublesome. And then I'm sitting there and I'm looking at the stuff that I highlighted. And I said, you know what? This is not necessarily doom and gloom like we're kind of reporting it to be. First of all, the way the report reads as far as Ben Studios goes and what happened with Days Gone 2 is clearly Days Gone 2 is not in development right now, according to this article, right? It's not in development right now. But crap, we've seen this time and time and time again in the gaming industry. Just because Ben Studios is now making a new first-party IP. New, I might add, right? That's more risky than doing a sequel, I would think. And they're saying, and also in the article, it says Sony not taking as many risks. How are they not taking as many risks? When you're telling me that they've greenlit a brand new first-party IP by Ben Studios, they can always go back after this one. Let's say this new IP ends up being a hit. If this is a hit, and they're okay with the way that Days Gone produced, why wouldn't they allow at that point the green light for Days Gone 2? Of course they would. Yeah. Of course they would. So everyone's saying, oh, we're not going to get a Days Gone 2. I'd pump the brakes on that. You're not going to get it tomorrow, but are you never going to get a Days Gone 2? We can't say that.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
is there a reason for this 5-alarm fire crap? I mean, what's your take?
They didn't. The thing is that they didn't really cancel Days Gone 2. They just didn't greenlight it. Right. And if you think about it, so you have Naughty Dog working on some killer stuff. Right. Last of Us is printing money. You need games for your PS5. What's going to be happening faster? Days Gone 2 or Factions and a Last of Us remake? So you split that team and their support team. That's basically what they're doing. Listen, all this happens to a lot of developers. Like, teams come out there and their support teams. Like, supposedly, isn't even the Coalition sort of a support team on Halo? Right? Like, I read something like that. Like, they're using some of the developers or whatever. Like, they're supporting. Like, that's what happens. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't mean, I think, what a lot of people are saying. And then they got, now that the projects seem like they're done or whatever, right? It looks like they're going to be, kind of going out there and doing their own IP again. So I think that's basically where we're at. So, we'll see something from them in, 3-4 years or whatever. And it just kind of is what it is.
Right. So shout out to X Abbott. I hope I'm saying it. If I'm saying it wrong, I apologize. Could be Zabbit. Both sound great, by the way. Sony bundled View and PS Now when first to market. Now they made a deal with Netflix to give what little they do have to offer. He's saying anime is not it. So X Abbott not agreeing with that move. I can see where he's coming from with that. But, shout out to Nine Lives. Great to have Nine Lives here as well. But, he says, Mooch, he's like, the Days Gone 2 top developers have left. I mean, guys, do we always forget yesterday? I mean, I know we're always very excited to live in the now, which you should, right? You should. Enjoy yourself today. But you really can't forget yesterday. And the key thing about that is this. Everyone's saying that about the Days Gone 2 developers crap. But what about 343 Industries? They've lost their entire top management.
I agree.
They lost their entire top management. They've been completely reshuffled, right? So for anybody that's saying, Mooch, you can't say Days Gone 2 can still happen. They lost some people at the top. I mean, Halo's still coming out. They lost a lot of their top people. The other
Good old Halo.
Halo. The other thing about Halo, I got to say, though, crap, is that people are getting down on the Last of Us remake. Now, you guys know I'm a huge Last of Us fan, massive Last of Us fan. Do I think I need a remake? Do I need a remake? No, I don't. But let's go back to what Crap just said. This makes money for Sony. Makes a lot of money for Sony. Halo Combat Evolved was on the original Xbox, the OG Xbox, 360. They got an anniversary. It was in the Master Chief Collection. Same game. Same game. Remade over with better effects, better music, better sound effects, right? Better visuals. Because Halo prints money for Microsoft. So Sony makes a PS3 version of The Last of Us. Then we get a remaster for the PS4. Now you get a remake for the PS5. Everyone's like, this is crazy. And the same person that's saying this is crazy is also playing Halo Combat Evolved for the 18th time. So, right? I just,
Mooch, it's me. I'm back, bitches.
Is that just your voice, Crap?
Pay me that money. What?
It's the sound effect not working, Crap.
Oh, it's not?
No.
Shit.
That's just you singing.
My bad.
Not bad, though. You might get a record label out of that.
Yeah, I'm working on the sound effects, though, so it should be pretty cool here in a minute.
Crap Gamer acapella.
Yeah.
Kind of liked it.
Me. I'm awesome. What can I say? I'm Crap Gamer.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So I want to say shout out to Is it Conan Yahoo? Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that comment. Thanks. Yeah, it is what it is. So I'm just saying, like, it's just business talk. If you guys are upset by this, it doesn't make any sense to get upset by it. All I'm saying is you can't get upset that Halo's making money hand over fist, and then they're like, hey, the big moneymaker for Sony's coming out. Let's bash that. It's the same thing. People in the chat are saying there's a difference. I don't know. Maybe that's me. Crap's still working on his sound effects, I think. It is what it is. Shout out to Wild Bates. Nine Life says, Mooch, true, but they brought back the original Halo dev Joseph Staten, which is true, Nine Lives. But remember, they brought him back, but they had all the other people that were there that they moved out. So it's not necessarily as easy as you're saying there. It is what it is. It is what it is. It's just topic of conversation, but no, you didn't know, Nova, not you. I'm hoping we get crap back. Crap, whatever you're doing with your sound effects, forget about it. Because I have lost the crap gamer.
I was forgetting about it. I wasn't doing it.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear you, so I thought you were busy doing something. I was like,
no. I'm here. Yeah.
Right.
No. That was I was here. I was just I don't know what happened. Like I wasn't talking. Yeah.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Shout out to Fat Nuts. He goes, Mooch, you're not allowed to eat at McDonald's anymore. You're not welcome there. You stay at Burger King. I know, right? That's what I hear. No,
you're
because
not?
somebody else is like, you can't talk about Xbox, Mooch. All right, whatever.
Of course not. Yeah.
It is what it is, right? Yeah.
You're not,
love the world we live in. That's great. Yeah.
Xbox, yeah.
Outstanding.
Can't talk about no damn Xbox. Get out of here.
Racer, he goes, I'm kind of pissed we don't have a crap gamer on harmonica. The harmonica's coming back, Racer.
Hey, it's going to come back one day. I promise.
Yes.
One day.
One day.
One day.
But what do you think, crap? I mean, what about the Bloomberg article? I mean, is there anything else in there that you kind of thought was good? It was
how
bad?
I feel about it?
Yeah, what do you think?
You know what? I think that as far as I could tell, the Bloomberg article was meant to be like this scathing report, like, oh my God, Sony's in such disarray, and you know what I mean.
That's what everybody ran with, and I'm like, where's the disarray?
But the more you kind of look at it,
yeah.
and the more you look at actually what they're doing, it's not really that bad because look at how they're doing things, right? They're basically saying, and I got because Jay Barria was on the show on Friday, right?
Yeah,
and he's like, man, but I'm gonna miss those like that, the way that Sony would come out with stuff like Gravity Rush or whatever.
Right.
These were like little niche titles that most people weren't buying.
Who the hell cares?
Exactly, Peter. Exactly. So again, these type of games are still going to exist. They're just not going to be Sony first party games, right? You can really kind of rely on the like second party or indies or smaller developers, third party developers to sort of bring those titles. They're still going to be there. Sony themselves are focusing on what makes them money. Just in the way, like, I guess, people used to kind of look at Microsoft as Halo, Gears, and Forza. That's what makes them money. They're going to continue to do that. To be honest with you, like right now, they're trying to get Game Pass to make them money. That's why everything they talk about is Game Pass related. So, as far as I can tell, we are sort of looking at in this weird situation where Sony is sort of echoing some of what Microsoft did, but in a slightly different way. And like they're even cutting the fat, sort of how Microsoft did, but without canceling everything. And they're not in dire straits apparently, where Microsoft, a $1 trillion company, apparently had to struggle and have yard sales to keep the lights on. So right. I think that's probably the main difference that we see between Microsoft and Sony.
Well, you just mentioned something, and I want to read what JD Gamer said, crap, because you said what you said. And JD, there's no problem with this. And Brap, I will get to your super chat too as well. But JD says the problem that people are identifying is Xbox memes, if you will. He says Halo, Gears, and Forza in quotes. Now, all we'll get on PlayStation is The Last of Us, Uncharted, God of War, and Spider-Man. JD, that's completely... And JD, I know you're following along. JD, you're not just somebody that writes things and moves along. I know you're following along with everything that's been going on over the years. As well as I know, that's completely untrue. Right, Crap just said that himself. It's completely untrue.
Yeah.
Shout out to Brap. He says, what's going around, The Last of Us bundled with The Last of Us Remake, The Last of Us 2 Remastered, and Factions in September. Brap making a hell of a point. and talk about
I brought that up
printing
on
money.
Friday.
Yeah, you
right?
did.
Like,
but talk about printing money crap.
Yeah, exactly. Like, listen, I know people go, well, it doesn't make sense to remake The Last of Us. But listen, if you can get 120 frames using The Last of Us 2 engine, looking that good or whatever, or 60 frames, that, you know what I'm saying? I think that makes that game that much more better. Like, I know people love The Last of Us, right, Mooch? Like, I liked it. I like the second one better. Right, it's like
I can see that
more open. It's more of
I like the first one better, but
like, and I can understand why people did, but it's like there's so much like controversy or faux controversy around the second game, and it's like for me personally, I didn't get into any of that.
That wasn't
like
the reason. That had nothing to do with my opinion on it, but the public perception,
Yeah, it's like, you know what? I liked that they took some risks with characters.
Right.
The main thing, it's like people complaining because somebody died on The Walking Dead. Like that's just going to happen.
Right.
Like it's not called Friendly Neighborhood Game Happy Fun Time. It's called The Last of Us. You know what I mean? It's a like apocalyptic game.
Not called Happy Shiny People too?
Exactly. And you got to be honest. Look, Joel, and what I understood in the first one, he wasn't a very good person.
He wasn't a good guy.
He's not. He wasn't a good guy. And not only that, he killed people in cold blood. Like, a lot of people don't realize that. And then that's when I noticed they haven't played the game. They're like, yeah, I didn't want to play as Abby or whatever. It's like, you understand, right, that she's like, I guess, spoiler alert here. So give you guys a second.
Earmuffs, everybody. Earmuffs.
Earmuffs. But Abby's dad was killed in cold blood by Joel.
Yep.
Like, cold blood.
Which
murdered.
when you watch that playthrough, okay, which I went through and played through the Last of Us 2 twice. And when you watch that scene, it is unbelievably gut-wrenching to watch, because what you thought in the first when you saw the Fireflies and you thought they were an evil organization. Well, listen, I can't speak for all the Fireflies that were across the continental United States, but the Fireflies that were in that one particular area in that out in the Midwest there, where they went and I believe, and guys correct me with my location of it, but where that hospital was, that they had the interaction with Joel and Abby's dad. Like, that particular group of Fireflies were really trying to help the better good of human society getting back on their feet. And that's what was so gut-wrenching about it. And so when you played through it's amazing. The first 5 minutes playing through the Abby character, and I'm kind of like, oh man, I want to play as either Joel or Ellie, right? And then you get going and you start to learn more and more about that character and the trials and tribulations that girl went through. And you're like, I became an Abby fan. Like I said that I've mentioned it a number of times. I'm definitely Team Abby. That's how riveting, guys. Think about the depth of the conversation, and we are only talking about the tip of the iceberg of how deep this game's story is. The gameplay was fun. It's if you go back and talk to people about the Walking Dead crap, and you've said this. You're like, the first 3 seasons you got me. Then it kind of, for you, it jumped the shark. And that's fine.
Yeah, the 5th season, I think.
That's fine.
It's like, there was an episode where Rick and the governor just sat there talking the whole time. And I was like,
that was the 3rd season.
Yeah, was it the 3rd season?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, 3rd season.
It was before the big prison fight. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even get that far. I was just like,
but my point being is that how many video games can you really get into that kind of a debate with somebody? I mean, a healthy debate on the Abby and the Firefly discussion versus the Joel and Ellie discussion, and the way that the two kind of met, and how they seamlessly kind of fade apart at the end there, and you're still divided mentally. You're still divided at the end of the very last scene. You're like, am I Team Ellie? Am I Team Abby? You're still fighting with yourself because there's so many pros and cons to both sides, and that's that enrichment, that story writing that you have to give credit to Naughty Dog for doing. And that's, to me, is unique. And I think as gamers, you put aside our favorite platforms for a second and just look at, like, that game to me it's a masterpiece. It really is. And it's a masterpiece not because of the game mechanics. It's because of what the game actually stands for and how it was actually told. Shout out to Basement Radio Arcade Podcast. He says Sony will still release new IP from first party. Naughty Dog is working on a new IP. Ben Studios working on a new IP. Santa Monica is working on a new IP. Basement Radio Arcade Podcast, thank you for tunneling that information into the minds of gamers. They need to hear that. G2 The University says, what if Sony kept all their exclusives in history? GTA, Metal Gear, Tomb Raider, Crash Bandicoot, etc. What would the competition be like today? That's a great conversation to have. And Glinser, he says, The Last of Us sold 20 million. How many did The Last of Us 2 sell? I mean, I don't know yet. I don't know yet. You know?
Yeah. We're not sure yet. I mean, if you think about it though, that's also with The Last of Us remaster that helped sell that, because if you remember, that game came out remastered early on in the PS4 lifecycle because they didn't really have much else, right? So I mean, I think it sold like 7 million on PS3, and then sold like something crazy like 13 million on the PS4.
Yeah. Shout out to Noof Nukem. Boom, boom, kaboom! He's up and he's in the room. Noof Nukem. Noof Nukem. Boom, boom, kaboom. No, great to have Noof here. Great to have Brap. I'm just looking through, seeing if there's anybody else here. JD, I see. Shout out to everybody that's here. You guys all mean so much to us. I truly can't say thank you enough. Guys, please do tweet it out. Hit that like button. Let's get over 300 viewers here today. Like I said, we didn't even announce we were going live until 20 minutes before the show. So that's shame on us. Okay, we're going to do a better job of promoting the show and getting more out there. The Ravenflow, he says, well, I don't agree with SPS decisions as of late. I think he's talking about Sony's production. He says the online community of PC, Nintendo, and Xbox gamers wait for PlayStation to slip. That's interesting, right?
Yeah.
Because
I noticed this yesterday, right? It's so funny the way that the communities are a lot alike in how they think. And what I mean by that is this, okay? So we have an insider in Jason Schreier come out and say these bad things about PlayStation. And all the Xbox fans believe it, right? All of them.
Right.
Bad news for PlayStation. It's
bad news on the horizon.
Bad news. Bad mood rising, right?
Bad.
We get an insider yesterday mentioned that a handful of Xbox exclusives are literally years and years away. And in fact, we might see another Xbox come out before these games release.
Yeah.
Nobody believes it. Who's this guy?
Insider.
Well, I don't believe it. Insider.
Get out of here.
Get out of here. Yeah, like
Get
that's
out
the
of
funny.
Here. Yeah.
That's the funny stuff that to
Only
me personally,
yes.
Yeah, it's just so hilarious, right? Like honestly. And the funny thing is, Mooch, like I don't look for vindication per se, right? Like let's just be honest. It is nice when some people do come up to me and go, "Man, you were right." And around 2018, you and me, we started saying, well, you know what? It's nice that Microsoft got these studios, but we're not going to see anything from them until probably 2022, 2023, maybe later. And people, boy, howdy, fearmongers. We're radicals, fearmongers, and all this kind of stuff, right?
Awful.
We didn't know what we were talking about. We were losers and flip-floppers and doing it for views and doing it for this and doing it for that. And here we are in 2021, and those games are still years away. Right now, what are we still fearmongers? I'm like, that's the main thing I want to know. Okay, because here's the thing: you don't have to be an insider, and I try to tell people this. You don't have to be an insider to do a little bit of sleuthing. Okay, like let's take for instance this new Fable game. Right, Fable. Okay, this studio, they're trying to build up to 250 people on their second studio to build Fable. Currently, they have only 100 people at this studio. Okay. Next, the lead writer was just hired at the beginning of this year. The third piece of news that came out was they built an engine specifically for this game, a custom engine for this game. Engine building takes time. That's why Halo took so long, okay? Supposedly that's why Forza's taken so long, because they had to build a new engine.
Right.
This stuff takes time.
It does.
A lot of people just thought that this game was going to come out next year or something. Ridiculous. We haven't seen a stitch of gameplay. We know nothing about the game.
And now we're hearing Starfield's not going to come out this year, possibly.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of figured Starfield wasn't going to come out.
Right.
Starfield. Like, listen, that was never formally announced to come out this year, so that's not even a delay, really.
No, it's not a delay.
I don't look at that as a delay. Listen,
absolutely not.
The first thing people have to understand is this: a lot of people are going to. How can I put this? You know how Ninja Theory's first game for Xbox after they bought them was Bleeding Edge, and that wasn't a good look. You know what I mean?
It was an awful look.
Yeah, they can't have a buggy Fallout 76 situation on their hands, Mooch, right? When Starfield launches and it's an exclusive and you paid $7 billion for this company, you better have a 85 plus rated game, new IP that makes people jealous and want to play Xbox.
That's exactly it, crap. I'm kind of glad you brought that up. That's the one thing everyone just keeps saying, Mooch, I don't understand why you keep saying this when clearly they bought Bethesda and they have games coming. But wait a second. there's people right now, right? There's people right now that are saying, well, Returnal's coming in 2 weeks, right? Crap, 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
And people are like, well, it's going to suck. Okay, well, that's fine. That's fine. I'm not going to talk anybody out of their opinion on that. But I want to say this much. If you're telling me Returnal, which you've seen enough of it, and you don't like it, well, Bethesda hasn't exactly had the best track record over last generation, outside of like Fallout 4, right? Like Fallout 76 didn't do very well. Prey didn't do very well. The Doom games are fan favorites. They're fan favorites, but they didn't sell very well.
Yeah. So, same thing with like Dishonored 2 and all that. Like
Dishonored
a lot of people
2 didn't do very well at all. The Evil Within. The Evil Within 2 was $30 in like 30 days after release. Yeah, remember that?
It was. So, that's what spurned that whole thing where you were like, they need to get something like that.
Yes.
It's a Game Pass.
And that's fine. That's great crap. But my point here that I'm making for this argument is just because Microsoft bought Bethesda and Bethesda has all those games might not be good.
Yeah.
They might not do well. Maybe they will, but everyone's assuming they're going to do well. And I'm sitting here saying, well, wait a minute. You've got games like Returnal and Ratchet and Clank, right? And other games coming out. And you say, well, are they going to be good? Some people are like, no, they suck. Well, okay, if those suck to you, then how can you say that possibly maybe what Bethesda is coming out doesn't sit well with gamers either? That's my point. We don't know. We just don't know. I want to say shout out to the Wise Old Gamer. Great to have the Wise Old Gamer here. I see about T-Rock. Happy birthday, T-Rock. Shout out to Neil Augusto, too. It's his birthday this upcoming week. Shout out to Neil. I want to say shout out to Xbot448, the great Percolator 9000. Just going through a few people here that I see that have joined us. Great that you're all here, guys. Please do hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Please do tweet it out. Let everybody know we're live. We only said we were going live 20 minutes before we went live. That might be a record of saying live that many times in a short period of time.
Yes.
Let me write that down. All right, crap. Do you see where I'm coming from?
I do. And listen, it's not that, because I think that, like I said, like I think Starfield, I hope that it's a really, really good game and gives me something really fun to play on Xbox, right? Because nobody doesn't. We have Xboxes. We both bought them. So why would we not want something good to play on it? You know what I mean? Like that's something that is specifically for that to play on it, right? Like that's the hope. And so I hope that it's really good. But at the same time, it's like, even if that game doesn't come out till next year, that's not really a delay, because that was never really announced for this year. So, and this is the thing that I tried to stress, because I had some long arguments, or not even arguments, just discussions on Twitter yesterday with some Xbox fans, especially when we heard that Fable, Everwild, and Perfect Dark are still years away, right? Like, look. That shouldn't really come as a surprise. I mean, you're still probably going to get something like, listen, here's the thing that I want to stress, right? I think that, I've never seen a company struggle so bad to put out games, Mooch. Like, that's the honest to God truth. Look at Hellblade 2. A lot of people really expect Hellblade 2 to launch. Some people thought this year even though the engine doesn't even release till the end of this year, and then they have to switch everything over. And not only that, but weren't they just looking at locations last year?
Yes.
Like, that game's not as far along as people thought. That game could be a 2023 game. These games that people think are super ready probably aren't as ready as you think. Look, people just are like really like to, and I get that. But as somebody who was like an Xbox person and got burned time and time again, I'm starting to see people go, well, wait for E3, crap. And I chuckle at that a little bit, because how many times did we say that, Mooch? Just wait till E3.
Right.
And then we get here's the thing. If Microsoft had games that were closer to launch, why would they announce stuff that's 5 years out like they did? Wouldn't they announce the stuff that's coming out soon? Like it would be like Sony if they would announce shit that's 5 years out, and you know what I mean?
Right.
Like it wouldn't have made sense. You announce the stuff that's closest to release. Right. Instead, they, State of Decay 3 pre-production. You know what I'm saying? A little CGI trailer for Fable. You know what I'm saying? CGI for even Perfect Dark or whatever. You know what the Perfect Dark CGI and the Fable remind me of? Remember when we saw the Crackdown 3 CGI that one year, and then it took like 5-6 years later? We're in that same situation with these games, folks. I mean, like, I know people don't want to look at it, and that's not to say you're not going to get nothing, because Starfield's going to come out. You're going to get Halo. But have you ever, Mooch, in your life of gaming, ever seen a company struggle so bad to get their games out? Like, even stuff that they should get out, like Halo.
It's interesting, right? There's a struggle there.
6 years.
Yeah.
Over
6 years, they had to fire the majority of their top tier management or relocate them. They don't like to use the word fire. They relocated them.
Probably close to $1 billion spent to make this game, right?
Right.
And what have we seen from it? We've never seen it running on an Xbox. We saw some still. They're like, "Ooh, look at this! It looks so much better." And it's basically just them switching to night mode. You know what I mean? Dark day, dark day, dark. Like we've seen some still shots of some guns, and this game's supposed to release in what, a handful of months?
Right.
Again, like when we actually saw this game running, it looked terrible. That's not to say that it's going to be a terrible game, but it didn't look like a next gen game. It doesn't look very impressive. Especially given the fact that they've had 6 years development time and all this money and thousands of people working on it.
Let me answer this real quick. So JD Gamer, when I was talking about Doom, which by the way, JD, that's not just me who's saying that, but a lot of people in the industry were saying that Doom didn't sell quite as well. He's saying Doom sold 7.5 million copies. I did do what he said and check the Google search. Here's what it says though. If we were to assume that all of this revenue was generated purely from the sales of full-price copies of Doom Eternal, then it could be estimated that the game sold 7.5 million copies. Estimated. So that's estimated, and that article doesn't really hold a lot of substance there. I'm not saying it didn't do okay, but don't forget too, JD, that's over what? PC, Xbox, PlayStation. All right. So now you're going to have it. Now you're going to have the next Doom only on Xbox. So you're cutting that into a third, and that's based upon that estimation. So I'm not saying that that's bad. I'm not an insider, okay? I'm just saying there were a lot of folks, and shout out to the great Jeff Grubb, who said that, and he didn't mention Doom, but he said there were definitely teams under ZeniMax in the Bethesda deal that if Microsoft didn't absorb them, didn't do this buyout, a lot of the different teams may have ended up closing doors within the next year or two. So do I think that was the Doom folks at id? No. But it definitely could have been Arcane. It could have been some others. So, shout out to the Ravenflow. He says, people forget 2023 is the halfway point of the generation for Microsoft. People do forget that. The other thing I want to bring up, and I know a lot of people don't like to hear this, but guys, this is interesting. Hear me out, crap.
Yeah.
Microsoft right now has the Power Crown, right? I mean, on paper, I understand Sony's keeping up with the Joneses. I get it. But Microsoft does have the Power Crown. If these games that are coming out later down the line, like Fable and Starfield, and you fill in the blank, that are coming out like that insider said yesterday, 3-4 years from now, Sony's going to have a mid-gen refresh. And when they have a mid-gen refresh, Sony's going to come out with they might up the ante. Because they don't have to change the CPU, right? But they might put a stronger GPU in there. So the Power Crown
doesn't really make much sense.
My point is the Power Crown thing that Microsoft holds, by the time they're actually able to capitalize on it with these big titles, Sony's going to have their mid-gen refresh out. And I wonder if Microsoft has plans for a mid-gen. I really do think Sony does. I have had people in the Sony camp tell me, Mooch, that's wrong. They don't think so. And I apologize. Brap says, you missed my super chat. Brap, I completely apologize for that.
Sorry, Brap.
No, Brap's right. Brap, I got to scroll up a bit here. How the hell did I miss it, Brap? I don't see it. There's no way it could just disappear. It's impossible. It's absolutely impossible. I see JD's.
Wow.
There it is. There's Brap. Brap says Doom Eternal did well. 450 million revenue in 9 months. That's that same article I was just looking at, Brap. That was that same article I was just looking at. The Wise Little Gamer says, I don't get why one corporation's success means doom for another. Both corporations have varying direction, but that doesn't imply one is right and one is wrong. As a teacher, I can affirm that you have more than one answer. Listen, I happen to be a Mooch. Okay, so I named myself Mooch.
You're Wise Old Gamer.
I'm the Mooch, but the Wise Old Gamer is also very wise. Crap.
Yes.
Okay. So he knows what he's talking about. I love when he chimes in. He literally, it's like gospel. The Wise Old Gamer is 110% correct. Peter Castle says Xbox and PC, likely Steam too. Also with Game Pass revenue will be viewed very differently. Less interest in units sold and more on subscriptions again. That'll be interesting. It will be less on that and more on the subscription base. Game Trailers comes out and says, true, ZeniMax plan to close 3 studios. There's Game Trailers saying it. Even Game Trailers is buying in. Basement Radio Arcade Podcast comes back, says PC holds power crown always. Oh, there you go, Brap, with the... He had to do a PC jab in there. He's got to get one in at least a day. It's healthy. It's healthy. It's good for you. Guys, please do tweet it out. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. It means the world to us. Yeah, crap. I mean, that's the long and the short of it. That's the long and the short of it. It's
crazy to think about it. Yeah.
Right.
I don't understand, how a lot of people are talking about this kind of stuff. It's sort of weird to me, just how people kind of think that these games, like the sales aren't going to matter.
Do you think Sony's being safe too? I mean, we've got Returnal coming out, crap, within the next 2 to 3 weeks. That's a new IP, right? And I know that you've seen the cinematic exclusive they're calling Abandoned, which, by the way, at this point in time, is not necessarily my cup of tea, but it may be a cinematic version, crap, of like an Until Dawn, which I thought may intrigue you. May. I don't know.
I mean, well, I'm not really sure. But I do think that Microsoft and Sony don't have to do the same things, just like McDonald's and Burger King don't have to do the same thing.
No, they don't.
Coke and Pepsi, they don't got to do the same thing. But I think that you have to have something there to draw people in, regardless, right?
That's right.
And for me personally, I feel like Microsoft, it's hard saying, like they're doing what they want to do. Right, like if their whole strategy were to just fall apart, they would probably just leave the industry. They're never going to go back to counting sales and things like that, because they're never going to beat Sony. They're never going to beat Nintendo. Okay, they know this. This is why they're doing things the way that they're doing it. They basically got bullied straight up out of the industry, the traditional industry, and so now they had to change everything they did to try and compete and find a new way to make revenue to compete. And that's basically what we're seeing right now. And will that pay off? I don't know, but it's like I'm going down the list of games, and you just really hope that some of these games come out sooner rather than later. I get that having Outriders and MLB The Show, third-party games on their day and date is
nice
a cool
splash.
thing.
Yeah,
it is, but it's a Band-Aid until they can start getting some of their first party out there. Like we're looking at things, and I'm looking at stuff, and I'm like, okay, well, let's look at ZeniMax, for instance. Okay. And some of their developers have a couple teams. I get that. We don't know what exactly the situation was, but we know that, the Evil Within developer is making Ghostwire Tokyo. That's a 1-year PlayStation exclusive, right? We know that, Arcane is doing Deathloop, and that's a 1-year PlayStation exclusive. We know that the team behind Elder Scrolls is doing Starfield, and then they're going to start on Elder Scrolls. Okay. We know that Machine Games is doing Indiana Jones. We also know that Doom just came out last year, so you're probably 3-4 years away from another one, right? Like, if you look at developers like a gun, and each bullet, is a game, they're reloading. You know what I mean? You look, it's a long time before you get anything. Look at inXile, for instance. They came out with that sleeping pill called Bard's Tale 4, and then another sleeping pill called Wasteland 3.
Oh my God!
Okay, like,
who
listen,
the hell cares?
Exactly. Like, listen, I get that there's probably some people that like those games, but let's just be honest. Those games are more PC centric. They're working on their first AAA IP, right? But they say it's going to take 5 years.
Right.
From last year, that's 2025. Okay. You look at compulsion games, and people will bring this. Like, I was having a conversation with Tim Dog on Twitter yesterday, right? Everybody knows Tim Dog, and he was like bringing up people like Compulsion and inXile. I know for a fact Tim doesn't give a shit about inXile's game or Compulsion's games. I think that there comes a point where, like if I were to sit there and hype up, something like Persona,
right?
Or Neo. Right, like that would just be me fanboying, because I have no interest in playing those games. They don't really mean anything to me.
That's correct.
It's like, and that's not to call out Tim per se, but just like that's what people do. Like they sit there and go, oh well, they're going to have this game and this game. Like, the majority of people haven't enjoyed. Like, a console gamer probably hasn't enjoyed anything that Compulsion's done or that inXile's done. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's just a few titles
that PlayStation's released this year. You don't see me ranting and raving about because they don't interest me.
Exactly. So
yeah, I understand your point.
That like Demon Souls, right? Like if I'm like, man, that Demon Souls, right? I didn't play that. I'm not going to play that.
No,
right?
so you're
They
not talking
released
about it.
Yeah, they released it, but I'm not going to sit there and say, I mean, it looks good from what I've seen, like graphically. But I'm not going to sit there and go, oh my god, Demon Souls, because I didn't play it. I don't want to play it. Right? That's not my type of game.
Right.
So just the way that I talk about, just like if they were coming out with a Bloodborne 2, that wouldn't mean dick to me.
Well, the thing is when you look at it, crap, you got to look at the essence of what you spoke about many, many months ago. When you look at the caliber of games that came out from a Compulsion, right? Or the caliber of games that comes out from like a Ninja Theory. Like, I'm not saying the Ninja Theory. I enjoyed Hellblade. Did I love it? Was it my favorite? Was it my game of the... No, it wasn't my game of the year. But I enjoyed it. But I'm also holding Ninja Theory to a certain level, right? Like where I know they're not going to like bypass this certain level. They're not going to achieve this level of greatness. They're going to be at this kind of level. And that's only fair to the team, right? You can't go to a place like Five Guys Burgers, right? And expect it to be like this magnificent like burger house that's in Chicago, right? Like that's insane, or in New York City. Like they're doing what they're doing, but they're pumping out fast. It's not like you're sitting down and you have your own waiter or your own waitress. It's not like that. So my point being is that like when you're looking at these caliber games, what Compulsion's going to do is within their means. It's within their means. So there's certain teams that they've picked up along the way, like Tim Schafer. Tim Schafer is an excellent developer. He makes fun games. They're not really my cup of tea. Like I never really liked that catalog of games, whether it be on PlayStation or Xbox. Psychonauts 2, am I going to try it in Game Pass? I'll try it, but I'm probably not going to play that game till completion. Like I'm probably not. It's just not the game I want to, like, you know what I mean? Like even Sackboy, right? Let's be fair. You're like, well, Mooch, be fair. Let's be fair. Sackboy, A Big Adventure. I have the game. I bought the game. It's all right. Same way I'm going to feel about Psychonauts. Like, I don't, that's not like the game I like to play. Am I going to go and platinum Sackboy? Probably not. Yeah. It's not going to happen. I played it for a bit, thought it was interesting. Hopefully the family like it. That's cool, right? It's a platformer, but it's not my thing. So I'm not going to sit there and be like, woo, man, I don't know about you PlayStation owners. If you haven't gotten Sackboy, A Big Adventure yet, you are missing out. No, I'm not going to say that. The Ravenflow comes back and says, imagine being so fully under a company's allure that a AAA game like Returnal being full priced is now considered a bad thing. Okay. Well, that's something we can talk about. Game Trailers also comes back. He says it took 7 years to make Horizon Zero Dawn games. They take time.
No, it didn't.
No,
that's not accurate at all. They had a launch game with the hell was that damn game?
Killzone Shadowfall.
Killzone Shadowfall. So 2013 they launched Killzone Shadowfall. Right. 2017 Horizon Zero Dawn came out. I don't know if you're that good at math or not, but that's not 7 years.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now you're talking about they're going to have another game out, hypothetically end of this year.
This year, yeah. Like, listen, with the way things are going, if they get that game out and it's anywhere near the caliber of the first one, you got another Game of the Year winner right there. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't think there's much that's coming out this year. Like everything keeps getting pushed back. I mean, look, I was looking forward to Deathloop because Deathloop looks much more my type of thing than like what Arcane's done in the past. And that got pushed back again. So, again, like we're sort of in this sort of situation where this is bad. You know what I noticed? Speaking about buying games, I noticed this a lot. Like people go, and you'll have to pay $70 for it. Like, when did people start thinking that it's like, let's shame people for buying games?
Yeah.
Like I've never thought. I don't really understand that.
The narrative out there, I don't understand that. Listen, if you look, let's look at games like we discussed earlier in this show, and we've discussed on M&C for years. Look at The Evil Within 2. That game came out. It was $60. Apparently, I loved it. Okay, so here you go. Well, Mooch, Mooch loved it. So you can't even say, well, that's your... I thought it was worth the $60. I loved it. Apparently, the gaming community and just gamers in general didn't feel the same way. That game dropped to $30, whether it be 30 or 45 days after it released. Now, hear me out. What Crap's trying to say here is, if Returnal comes out at $70 and it's a hit, well, listen, that means people are going to, and people go buy it, it's a big deal because then the $70 tag may not go away. If this game comes out and it's mid, it's just a mediocre kind of game, and people don't buy it, that game's going to go from $70 to $40 or $50 within 4 to 6 weeks.
Not only that, but then probably Sony will sever their relationship with that studio from that point on. You know what I mean? Like I can imagine that. I can imagine that being a thing, because let's look at what happened with Detroit Become Human, which is one of my all-time favorite games, right? I played through it back to back to back. That's how much I love that game. That game sold okay, right? I think a few million copies or something. And next thing you know, Sony lets that company go, right? Like that company was only doing exclusives for PlayStation. Now their next game's going to be multi-plat. So I would assume that like the people that are all about like these taking chances and the new IP and stuff like that, if you don't buy Returnal and don't support Returnal, then don't be shocked when something like that happens. Like their next game probably be multi-plat. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Shout out to the wise old gamer who's back here. I did not read this one. He says the only reason why people are talking about Sony's Doom is because they chose to be silent. The wise old gamer making so much sense right now. Let's see the optics when they drop Horizon Zero Dawn 2 or God of War 2 trailer. Game Trailer says they did start working on after Killzone 2. I think Game Trailer is just trying to say that they may have been working on it before. I don't think so.
Here's the thing that I would like to point out. Like when people go, well, this game took this amount of time. Like, listen, technically, if you've ever listened to Insomniac Games, Sunset Overdrive was the game they've been wanting to make their entire careers.
That's right.
Right? Like you can have something planned on a thing like on the back. It doesn't mean that you actively were developing it for 7 years. You maybe have a concept. Yeah. Right? Hey, we had this concept while we were making Killzone 2. Listen, Bungie had a concept for Destiny.
Right.
While they're making Halo. Does that mean
you guys don't know
that long to make it? No.
Crap, but they don't realize is Mooch, Crap, and Nova. We actually have plans to be on XM Radio, Sirius Radio, any day now. So, there's a lot of plans, right? Doesn't mean it's happening.
Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't mean it's green lit.
That's exactly what I'm kind of talking about. Yeah,
exactly.
So
your point's valid.
Yeah, so like that's the thing that I would kind of like just point out there. Not everything is kind of cut and dry. And then JD Gamer says the Xbox game studios that you mentioned aren't the same as they were 2 years ago. All of them have been staffed up significantly, received new tech and talent to win. Listen,
some of that's true.
I mean, if that were the case, like I've been hearing this for a while now since 2018. Like Microsoft supposedly pumped it. I know this isn't a first-party studio, but pumped a ton of more money into Crackdown 3, right? And
a lot of money,
and delayed that game again, and it still came out like that. Microsoft bought Ninja Theory, and they put out Bleeding Edge, probably one of the worst games I've ever played in my life. You know what I mean? Like Battletoads, what a hunk of shit that was.
Battletoads,
right? Like, just please, Battletoads. Like, let me tell you something. When does this turning point come where the games are suddenly going to be good? Okay, like that. I think that's the thing. Like, listen, you can sit there and go, well, they staffed them up, they did this, but you can staff up a turd. You can shine up a turd, and it's still a turd. You see what I'm saying? Like, if you don't have that leadership and you don't have the idea, like JD, no matter how big of a fan you are of Xbox, you have to admit we're bordering on ridiculousness.
Yes.
Of how long it's taken them to get a fucking game out the door.
It's a bit much. And, and JD, don't get me wrong. I appreciate your enthusiasm. I really do. And I like how he literally looks at the positive side of every silver lining you could possibly get, which I'm not saying he's wrong. I actually agree with what his super chat just mentioned right there. But like you just said, Crap, we are infringing on some scary times between games launched from Microsoft's side. And a lot of people say from this last Bloomberg article that Sony's not being creative. Sony may be a little bit more tight-fisted on the actual developers. But the thing about it is, Crap, when it comes down to it, Microsoft giving their developers this much freedom, I don't know if that pays off in the end either. I don't know if, because they even said Bethesda and the ZeniMax Studios acquired are going to have basically independence from Microsoft's overarching hand. And that's fine. That's fine. But we'll see how that works out. It should be okay, but you never know.
This is what I point out, JD, right? And we can say the future is going to be this or the future is going to be that, maybe. But the here and now, 583 days without a AAA release from Microsoft. 583 days. That is the longest drought, like in the history of like a big console maker. I've never experienced anything like this. I've never seen anything like this. Okay?
Mhm.
And when's the next game going to come? We'll be well over 600 days. Well, probably 700 now. Okay?
Yeah.
And then and then you have to worry about the next one after that. It's like, 6 months from maybe 3 years from now, they'll be able to do what they want to do and put 4 or 5 big games out a year. But we're not at that point yet. They have a lot to prove still. And to me, look, Fable supposedly was in development right at after Forza Horizon 4, so 2018. Right. And we're still years away from it. Perfect Dark. The initiative got built in 2018? Mm-hmm. 3 years later, it's still years away.
Well, crap, look at what Peter Castle says here for you. He this keeps coming up for you all the time, and I think you do a good job of explaining. He says, crap, define a AAA. Because your interpretation of a AAA, and the way I look at it also, is different than, I guess, because some people are still saying a AAA could be like a Gears Tactics.
No, it isn't Gears Tactics, and I'll tell you why. When you look at a AAA game, think of it this way. Look at a movie, okay? What's a blockbuster movie? A Marvel movie, okay?
Right, a Marvel movie.
Something where you see advertisements all over the place.
Everywhere.
They spent a ton of money on it. The studio spent a ton of money on it. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna like that. That's a AAA type movie. When it comes to AAA games, and you can look it up, it's like studio size, game budget, marketing budget, and the scope of the game. So let's take a look at some AAA games. Halo is a AAA game. Gears of War, the base franchise, is a AAA game. God of War is a AAA game. Call of Duty, Battlefield, these are AAA games. Now, let me ask you something. In your heart of hearts, if you're one of these people trying to say Gears Tactics isn't there, would you let Gears Tactics stand next to any of those games I mentioned? Hell no, you wouldn't. Okay? It's just not. Okay, there was no marketing for it. There was no buzz for it. There was no nothing for it. It's made by, you know what I'm saying? That's why it's not. And I don't get why people would want to use such a niche title just to save face for Microsoft. Yeah,
right. That's not a good comeback at all.
It doesn't make them look better. By the way, when you go, what about Gears Tactics? It actually makes them look kind of worse.
Yeah,
because let's just be real. I'm going to bring this idea out to you. Since 2017, Microsoft has released 3 new consoles and fuck all to play on them.
Mm-hmm.
How do you do that?
I don't know.
The One X, the Series S, and the Series X, and they've released no games to play on them themselves, first party wise. How is that even possible?
Right.
Again.
Right. No. Shout out to Glinter. He says, "Do you ? I'll finish this question in 600 days." I think Glinter is saying that may be when the next new AAA IP comes out.
Exactly. You know what I mean?
Shout out to Corey Massey as well. Shout out to Corey Massey who's enjoying the show. I appreciate that, Corey. Go ahead, Crab.
Forza 7, 2017, that game came out. We're in 2021.
Right.
2017, Forza 7 came out.
Right.
How is it, 4 years later, and we might have to wait 6 years before we get to the next Forza? Like, what the hell are these like? And you can't tell me that there is not some kind of issue with Xbox, right? Like with how they get games out. Even that, like, I'm sure JD Gamer and all these people thought Hellblade was coming out close, but they're scouting locations last year. How close can it be to coming out?
Right.
Right, like you can sit there. Yeah. Exactly. If they're still doing that stuff, then
and if it does come out that short in time frame, crap, to when they're scouting and filming, then it's probably not it wouldn't be a massive game. In order for it to be a massive game, it takes time, man. It takes time. Yeah. And listen, I'm not going to speak for crap here. Not trying to rush the studios. Let the studios take the time they need. The problem is,
do what you got to do. Yeah.
The problem is that you're talking about almost getting. Hear me out, everybody. Please just hear this out. And whether you agree with me or not, just digest it for a second. There's a chance that by the time Microsoft hits its stride with all of these acquisitions, these studios, these IP, the games, you're at the mid-gen refresh point or close to it.
Yeah.
Right? And at that point, Sony's going to have a more powerful console come out. Look at the difference between the PS4 and the PS4 Pro. Okay, what did it go from, crap? 1 point. And everyone hates I'm not using the teraflop. I'm only using the teraflop discussion just to give a measurement here. You're 1.83 or 1.8, roughly 8.1 T-flops on the PS4 to a 4.2 on the PS4 Pro, right? So now, if Sony goes and they go from the 10.3 to listen, Who cares, right? I don't even care if I'm right or I'm wrong here. I don't care. Then they go to like 13.4. I don't know. They might have a 13.1. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah.
Is Microsoft going to go from 12 to 14? 12 to 15? I mean, where are we going with this, folks? We're in the middle of the systems all still have to play the same games. They all still have to, coexist together. It's a mid-gen. So the whole power thing is going to lose a bit of its luster in the next 2 to 2.5, 3 years, right? When the mid-gens come out. So my point being is that once that starts to lose a little bit of it, and then Microsoft has their games coming out, and you have even more equally powered machines than we do now, Microsoft's lost its leg up on having the powerful console, because by the time they put their first party games out there for us to enjoy, Sony's going to have their most powerful console coming out again, right? With their first party games. So it's just a matter. And then you've been sitting here. I'm sitting here. I have an Xbox Series X. Sitting about 6 to 7 feet away from me. And I'm playing Outriders on it. And I'm playing Warzone.
Yeah.
And you might go, well, Mooch, that's a you problem. Maybe it is.
Yeah. Well, listen, here's the thing that I would say, right? Xbox Series X has 0 games that showcase why you needed that console. You know what I mean? Or that really showcase what it can do. Okay. And that's just me being honest about it. There's 0 games that really do that. Okay.
Yeah.
And I just feel like, we still have to wait. They're going to literally go over a year from launch of their console by the time they actually finally get an exclusive out there. You know what I mean? And there's a couple super chats I wanted to get to. JD Gamer says Flight Sim the best next gen graphics response. My response is that's a PC game. Listen, it's a simulator.
A long week. You couldn't wait to come home, pour your favorite drink, and play.
Yeah, like JD, this is the same type of argument that I see on Twitter. And it doesn't make Xbox look any better. It's the same thing with Gears Tactics. When people are talking about the big bangers that they want from Microsoft, they're talking about the Fables, the Halos, the Gears.
Yeah, bring on the good stuff. I can't wait for it. Listen, I don't even like Fable. I want this new Fable.
Yeah, Avowed, and you know what I mean. They're talking about that. Yeah, they're talking about this kind of stuff, right? Like, I get that you're trying to make it seem like it hasn't been as bad, but it's been worse than I portrayed. I was a diehard Xbox guy. I've spent thousands and thousands on this shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? Why is it that you shouldn't have to cover for them? They're literally not giving somebody like me and Mooch anything that we're interested in for 3-4 years now. Yeah. That's a bit of a problem,
we're still waiting.
We are. We're still waiting.
And you know what? Listen, you know what? Let me be fair to JD. And you know what, JD, I have a question for you. Do you enjoy Flight Simulator? I mean, are you enjoying that? I mean that wholeheartedly, because I don't know the answer to that. I haven't spoke to you offline. JD, are you enjoying Flight Simulator? Because and I just for the purpose of conversation, if you're not, then what are you enjoying for the past 3 years that we haven't gotten much besides Gears 5 and seemingly waiting until either Halo Infinite or a year beyond that before we see something from the new studios? What is it you're doing to preoccupy your time and keeping you enthusiastic about the Xbox brand? And if I could please ask one thing, not Game Pass, because a lot of except for MLB The Show and Outriders, the majority of Game Pass, I've either already played the games I wanted to in there, or I decided I didn't want to play those games, or I'm just not interested. So I'm just curious, but is what is really occupying your time? It can't be Flight Simulator, or is it Flight Simulator? I'm just interested. Crap, I gotta hear that.
Yeah, like to me, it doesn't really make much sense, because even on let's be honest, Flight Simulator is a simulator, not really a game. But it's the people that talk this up, this is a game that's basically catered to the PC crowd, a very niche crowd that has all these kind of doodads and shit, right? Like a stick and all this stuff. It's probably not going to do anything on the console, right? And they're probably having trouble utilizing this on console because you can have DRM and all that kind of stuff on a PC game like this, and it does. But on a console where it's required, apparently you need a shit ton of good internet to even run this game. because that's how it does stuff, because it's basically using cloud power, right? For like the graphics and stuff like that. So they're probably having trouble adapting this game to their consoles, and that could be a reason why maybe the launch or the Xbox One S's and that stuff might not even get the game, and we haven't even heard anything about it for a long time now, so we don't even know exactly what's going on.
Well, and you do have a question from Game Trailers, crap. In the super chat.
Hold on. What's he say? He says, I hate Bleeding Edge and Battletoads. Dude, he says you like Destruction All-Stars. Forza 8 getting a new engine. You complain they make Forza every year. So Microsoft made 7 Forza games over the Xbox One generation. 7. Yeah. Anybody would agree that that's a little bit too much. As far as Destruction All-Stars, what did I say? I said I played it and it was fun, but it lacked content like crazy. And that's the truth about it. I don't understand what you're talking. When's the last time anybody heard me talk about Destruction All-Stars? Right? Yeah. Honestly. It's crazy to think about.
It's also a free game.
Exobit says, why spend so much energy convincing people to dislike a company or console? What is the goal? Can't sell the X Series X. They bought and buy a PS5. What? I don't understand the question exactly. I don't think it's anything trying to convince anybody not to like it. Right. I'm not sure which angle you're coming out here. My whole idea is to try to get Microsoft to do something like the money that they're spending to get these games day and date should have been money that they invested a long time ago to maybe buy some exclusives in the first place, right? While you're waiting. JD Gamer says, I don't have to be the same kind of gamer as you, and my money spent just as good as yours. Bottom line is you like what you like, and there's PS for others. Listen.
Well, that's fine. No, but JD, what I'm saying is that there's nothing wrong with what you're saying there at all. As a matter of fact, I completely agree with you. But my point being is that I don't know what it is that myself personally, like I used to always turn to Xbox for certain types of games and certain types of releases. I'm just not seeing that right now. And then when you say, well, they picked up Bethesda's Bethesda, right? They're Fallout, they're Doom. Those are great titles. They're great titles. But it doesn't have the stamp of Microsoft. Like the Gears franchise. I know everyone's going to go Gears, Forza, Halo. I understand, guys. And let's put that joke aside. The Gears, the Forza, and the Halos, when you hear those, whether you want to laugh or you want to joke or make a meme about them, that's fine. But that is the essence of Xbox, right? And that's an awesome thing. I think that's amazing. So when someone goes, well, now Fallout 5 will be an Xbox game. Well, yeah, they bought it. They bought it. But it's I don't necessarily like have those two next to each other in mind when I think about them, right? I still think Bethesda. Like, right? If we were to play a game like the $25,000 Pyramid, which nobody knows what that is, by the way. Yeah. But if you actually were to look it up on Google and check that out, and I was to say to you, the Wise Old Gamer, he knows. Shout out to the Wise Old Gamer who's in the chat. And I say to you, Fallout, he would go Bethesda. If I said Gears, he'd go Xbox, right? Uncharted, PlayStation, right? That would be the game. It was matching one with the other. So, JD, it's not that your money, my money. I was asking you just what are you enjoying? Yeah. And there's no wrong answer.
I get that too, but don't you understand that, like, there's a reason why Xbox, and even if you want to try and damage control and say that, well, that's not their metric anymore. I mean, don't you think there's a reason why, like, universally, Xbox is looked at as the company with the least exclusives, the least, not only the least, but the worst exclusives and the lack of exclusive. Like, every article that I've read has always pointed to Xbox's weak lineup as a huge deficiency for them. And they're in last place. Let's just be real about it. They're as a company, they're in last place. Like, the reason they're in last place is because the exclusive situation. There's no other reason behind it. It's like,
I've got to explain myself, crap, and I apologize. X Abbott here, he says, why do you play on Xbox ? He goes, don't say Game Pass though, because Mooch doesn't think that counts. X Abbott, that's like if you said I love McDonald's, and I go, okay, X Abbott, what is it that you like at McDonald's? And you go, dollar menu. I asked you, what do you eat at McDonald's? The dollar menu's got like 10 items on it. Like, what does that mean? Like, because when you say, oh, there's a catalog of games, PlayStation Now is a catalog of games. And it's cheaper. It's cheaper for the year. So if you're going to say dollar menu, well, Burger King has a dollar menu. Wendy's has a dollar menu. A lot of places have a dollar menu. I'm asking you, what do you like to eat? That's why I said, don't say Game Pass. Game Pass is the catalog. I understand that. But when I say to you, gamer to gamer, what do you like to play? And you say Game Pass, Well, you don't play Game Pass. You play the games in Game Pass. That's my point. I'm not saying it doesn't count, but it's not answering the question. That's why I said that. It's not that I'm saying, JD, you can't say that. I just want to know what game in Game Pass are you enjoying then? Game Trailer says, crap, Gran Turismo is a driving simulator. Yeah. LMAO. He comes back and says, Forza, I don't know. Forza Motorsport and Horizon, different games.
They are. One's an arcade racer, one's a simulation racer.
Yeah. Lewis89 says, Mooch and Crap, love the show. Keep up the good work and can't wait for Returnal. The drying gaming is almost over. I think he means the dry gaming era or spell is almost over.
Yeah, I mean, well, we did get hit. We did get Outriders, and then I think we're going to get Returnal in a few weeks. And then we're going to get Mass Effect Trilogy, and then we're going to get Ratchet and Clank. So yeah, it sounds like it's going to be a pretty good, and I still expect a lot of delays though. Like, did you hear the new Call of Duty? Seems like it's in a bit of a disarray state.
Well, let's be honest, Crap. This is literally the third Call of Duty in the past 3 years we've heard is in disarray.
That's true.
So, listen,
they probably got 5,000 people working on it.
I'd love to put out a game with you and Nova in disarray that sells 800 million copies.
I agree.
Right?
I agree 100%.
So,
yeah.
I mean, the thing that I wouldn't use the word concerned, but if you want to talk about Call of Duty just for a split second, me being the Warzone fan that I am, and how we went from a modern warfare to the 80s, right? The 80s tactical kind of perspective with Cold War. And now my concern is that Call of Duty is going back again to World War II, which I totally did not want.
Yeah, well, it's not. Wait, Call of Duty's not going to Cold War. It's going to
World War II.
I thought it was doing like Vietnam or something. I don't know.
Oh, I thought I heard World War II.
I don't know. Maybe. Listen, I guess it depends. We don't really need like for me, I like it when the 3 different Call of Duties do 3 different things, right? Like, you had Sledgehammer do Call of Duty World War II. I like that actually. And then you had another one do Modern Warfare or whatever, and then you had, the Black Ops reboot or whatever. I like how they kind of all do their own thing. Hold on, let me prove Game Trailer's wrong again. He says, crap, exclusives don't sell consoles. If exclusives do sell consoles, why Wii U and 64, GameCube, Dreamcast did not sell? Well, there's lots of reasons there. I mean, I can break it down. I'm a bit of a gamer historian. So, first of all, the Wii U, confusing as hell. Most people thought when they went up there and announced it, they thought it's just a tablet edition for the Wii. Okay, terrible thing. Like, nobody knew what the hell this thing was. So not only that, you put out really bad technology at the time and things like that. As for the Nintendo 64, the Nintendo 64 sold well for what it was, but it was using cartridges at a time when everybody was going disc. So, that's a huge reason. And the cartridges were more expensive. Like, it's $80, $90 sometimes for those things. As for the GameCube, once again, you're looking at their own disc situation. Okay. It just wasn't a good situation. Dreamcast, once again, you want to know why the Dreamcast didn't sell? It's because Sega screwed over their fans. They lost consumer trust. It had nothing to do with games or whatever. You can't just look at something and go, well, this suits my narrative for what I'm trying to say. Now, Game Trailers, I would say to you this: why is Xbox in last place? They're doing everything. They're literally doing everything, supposedly, according to you, consumer friendly and better. Right. So why are they in last place? And don't bring up 2013 in the Xbox One.
Right.
Okay? Look, they have the most powerful console, the least expensive next-gen console, Xbox Game Pass, game gifting, play anywhere, xCloud, right? Phil King Ding-a-ling Spencer. Okay? So why is it that they're in dead last place?
And you know what, Crap? If I could, please. Now, Game Trailers, do take that question seriously. I want to add this, too. The Wii U being a failure that it was, Nintendo scraps the idea and comes out with the Switch, right? And ends up being a massive overnight success. So that's why when Crap says, let's not use that 2013 as a crutch anymore. Because Nintendo literally fixed their problem internally, put out another console, in the middle of a console generation, right? They scrapped the Wii U halfway through, Crap.
Yep. Sony did the same thing.
And Sony did that with the PS3
With the
era.
PS3, yep.
Yeah. So you can't say 2013 Mooch and crap. You can't. I'm sorry. We can't use that anymore. It's 2021. So why is it Xbox with all the consumer friendly, with all the great things that crap just said, with all the great things that you guys are saying? And I agree with everything you guys are saying, by the way. Why are they still having a hard time climbing out of the 3 spot? And they've got every influencer in the sun on their side. They've got the media on their side now. It's the sky is looking great. I mean, the sky is not the limit for Microsoft anymore. They can go as high as they want right now. And that's the thing. It is a good question. Maybe it's rhetorical right now. We'll have to get back to it. The Wise Old Gamer comes back. He says, PlayStation fans want Microsoft to organically grow developers like Sony. Microsoft knew they couldn't do that. Bethesda purchase was to address this. Why fault Microsoft for that? No, Wise Old Gamer, there's no fault. There's no fault. But at the same time, you can see that I believe it was even mentioned, guys, correct me if I'm wrong, it was mentioned that this upcoming E3 that's going to be virtual, Bethesda is going to do their own show separate of Xbox, albeit right after Xbox. I'm hearing Xbox will go, I'm making this up, at 12 Eastern, and then after the Xbox show, Bethesda will go. But Wise Old Gamer, I guess that's my point, is they're keeping them separate, right? And they did that whole thing with Vault, right? And keeping the organization separate. So I guess Vault, formerly known as ZeniMax, is not going to fall under Xbox Game Studios. And they're their own individual entity under the Microsoft umbrella, it seems. Where they're more partners with Xbox than fall under Xbox. It's interesting, right? So I'm just bringing that up. It's a perception thing. There's nothing wrong with that, and we should not blame Microsoft for going out and buying companies. I don't think that's a problem right now. If they start to buy everybody, we've got a concern going back to the early days when you say monopoly, right? I don't want Sony and I don't want Microsoft to buy everybody. I just don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
Like for me personally, I think that you do have to look at Microsoft and go, well, they haven't organically been able to make their own hit. You know what I mean? Like they've literally never done that. I don't trust the Xbox leadership per se with getting games out, because I feel like it can't be understated enough how having somebody go in there and say, I don't think this game's a good idea, or hey, this game's not fun. Okay, look at what like with the PlayStation side. Yoshida goes over there, sees what's going on with God of War, says this isn't a good game.
Yeah,
they totally scrap it, and they had to redo it. Right. Okay, Phil or somebody needed to do that with, say, Bleeding Edge, right? Crackdown 3. That game should have just been canceled right from the get go. Okay,
he didn't even say it for Halo Infinite, because he came out and said Halo Infinite's coming out this November. This was last July. So he saw what Halo was. Halo Infinite was coming out last November, folks. Okay, let's not everybody forgets yesterday. They only remember now.
They do.
Bill said that Halo Infinite's ready to ship.
And let me just say this as well, right? And look at the games we were getting. Even and I like I like Sea of Thieves, but that game should have been delayed a year and a half.
Right.
Maybe more, to build up the content and stuff like that before it launched. State of Decay 2. That game was so bad. The first time we played it, Mooch, we spawned in the floor and the walls. Yeah. There was that game got a re-release that nobody talked about. Where they actually, 2 years after launch, they completely released that game with new graphics, new everything. It was so bad. Right. So again, nobody really talks about that, but that's how bad of a state of array things were at Microsoft. Like they released shit like Recore, like stuff that could have been good. That's not that
long ago.
Yeah, stuff that could have been good ended up being trashy because they didn't.
I think Recore had so much potential, dude.
It had a good story, but it was like find the cores. I like
the gun mechanics. I'm going to a very basic level. I enjoyed the gun mechanics. Game Trailers goes, why Xbox Series X sold out? Come on, Game Trailers. They're putting out like 18 of them, a month. They sell out. Like it's a pandemic. Like there's not many out there. So the demand is high, right? It would be an interesting conversation to have, Game Trailers, if we weren't in a pandemic, to see how things were doing on PlayStation and Xbox. But PlayStation put numbers out that they're breaking PS4 records, and the PS4 did phenomenal. JD Gamer says, last thing, it's not exclusives, it's mindshare that is driving catalyst in sales of any product. Every burger place sells a burger. So why does McDonald's sell the most? Mind share. I think also location and advertising.
Yeah, I mean they got more. If you got more, yeah, if you got more,
they're giving away
cheeseburgers
there, for like 80 cents. Good luck finding a hamburger for 80 cents. That's not that passes the Food and Drug Administration.
Like I don't understand why people still don't think that this exclusive stuff matters. And you can check the stats on this. Okay, look, EA leaked out how many Xbox Ones has sold up until a point in 2016. Okay, it's like 31 million sold. Okay, that was when they were still doing exclusives. The last NPD they won was Gears of War 4 in 2016.
Yeah.
Okay. No matter what, I understand that people like the only people ever going, it's an old metric to count sales. It's an old metric. The only ones that are ever saying that are Xbox or Microsoft and Xbox fanboys. And they're saying that because they're in last place. How fucking ballsy and ignorant would you be to say Xbox is the market leader looking at a company that's literally last fucking place in every metric?
Mm-hmm. I find it funny too. Some of the guys that report the NPD and things like that, they're always like, well, it's the future is the way that Xbox is counting things, but then they still mention sales every month.
Listen,
because it does matter. I mean,
of course,
will things change in the future? Sure, but it still matters as of today.
Here's the thing, though. If you like, Phil Spencer always comes across as so nonchalant about if he sells Xboxes or not. Like, does he not understand that the more consoles you sell, the more software and services you can sell people? Right? Like, I understand that their whole thing was to avoid that by, well, we've got streaming on phones, right? Like, nobody gives a shit. I'm just being honest. Like, nobody cares about streaming games on phones. There's 1 million downloads for xCloud. That's it. The same amount as Stadia. It's not some huge savior. Like, people, people cap for that shit. And then, like, you got the people that would take a picture, Mooch, next to their router on their phone. Yeah. Like that Microsoft gave them for free.
People are like, I'm really enjoying Destiny 2, and meanwhile it's a picture of them playing in their living room right next to their next to their modem. It's like
because I can tell you, I can tell you right now, the person that's hyping that shit up, they're more hyped about the Series X and playing in 4K or 8K at 120 fucking frames than laggily streaming something on a little 5-inch phone, jumping all over the place. Right? That shit is not fun. Okay. Like, I understand that cheap point of entrance and this, like, as an Xbox, like, can I tell you some of the excuses and bullshit when I was damage controlling Xbox? Like, well, now that they're in China, Mooch, they're going to sell millions of Xboxes. Didn't happen. No, now that Game Pass is in Japan, they're really going to sell a lot of consoles in Japan. Yeah. Guess what? Didn't happen. Now that streaming's available in Japan, everybody in Japan's going to love Xbox. Guess what? It's available in Japan. Didn't happen.
Nope.
Okay, like at some point, people just have to fucking accept the fact that however many gamers there are right now are there. Like, if you want to expand gaming, the best way to do it probably isn't to do hardcore games on phones. Like, Sony recently announced that they're looking for somebody to put games on mobile,
right?
But they're not going to put their you're not going to play God of War 2018 on a mobile phone. You're going to play something like Sackboy Jump. Like Pokemon Go.
That's
like,
what I was going to say. When you look at
mobile,
when you look at mobile games that are killing it, it's Candy Crush.
Yes.
Or tower defense games.
Yep.
It's like games that you can play on the go. Nobody's sitting there in their office. And I say nobody, okay? Everybody hates it when I say, okay, not absolutes. I don't mean everybody. I'm sure there's somebody sitting in their office playing, what is it there? Gears of War or Destiny 2 on their phone. I'm sure there's somebody. I'm just saying the majority of people are not doing that. It's just not a comfortable feel. It's not something you could do for hours and hours ends out. You just can't. JD Gamer comes back, says advertising raises mindshare, so does good prices. I think advertising good prices spreads mindshare. But I like where JD's going with that. But I mean, that's the thing I'm trying to say there. I can't
even think of the last Xbox commercial I've even seen, to be honest with you.
On TV or on anything, or not anywhere, on YouTube?
Yeah. Nah,
well, they have stuff on YouTube, don't they?
I don't know. Maybe. I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen a Game Pass commercial. And I watch a lot of TV, man. I don't see anything anywhere. I see PlayStation stuff all the time. but I never see anything Xbox related or anything like that. You know, I don't know.
Well, they don't need to right now, crap. They've got everybody under the sun on social media doing their average. Twitter is a Game Pass commercial.
Oh yeah, well, I get it.
It's a Game Pass commercial. No, but I'm just saying they don't. We heard Aaron, right? Aaron Greenberg said we're going the grassroots. Well, they're doing it. Yeah. That's exactly what I'll give him credit there. He said we're going grassroots crap. That's the advertising they're doing right now.
But that's like advertising on your dashboard. Like the only people you're going to get to are people that are already in your ecosystem. That's
the dashboard rationale. But I mean, there's even like tons of the big. I'm talking about like million views, 360,000 plus up subscribers on even PlayStation channels are doing Xbox Game Pass stuff. Yeah. You know, I mean, they're doing the grassroots. They're doing it non-traditional. They're not going to NBC, CBS, ABC. They're not going to Viacom. They're doing it through YouTube.
I just want to chime in. We have 295 people watching right now, and we only have 65 upvotes. Hit that damn like button, please, guys.
Thank you, Nova. Let's the great Nova Insomniac, by the way. Outstanding. Nova, thank you for everything you do. And Nova, believe it or not, Crap and I, we had this outstanding conversation before the show. We've got a lot of fun stuff coming up in the next couple of weeks. So shout out to the great Nova and Cool Hand Cruz. I'd like to give him a shout out as well. But, you know, I mean, Wise Old Gamer says, Mooch, remember, Nintendo tried going into mobile with, I don't know if he's saying Dina. I don't remember if that was a game. It did not work for them. They announced they are not putting much resources into mobile anymore. That's the thing. If you don't believe me, believe the Wise Old Gamer. That's what I'm trying to say to you. Crap, that's what you're saying.
Yeah, like this is the thing, right? Because
mobile's got a huge market,
Listen,
but it's not these games.
It does, and you have to keep in mind this too. There's literally billions of free games out there on mobile phones, right?
Yeah.
This is the thing that I try to point to, because this is the problem that you have when you look at start looking at stuff not as a fanboy, but just the reality of things. You start to think a little bit. Okay, so I'll hit you guys with something. When you're a hardcore Xbox fanboy, Microsoft said they're going to get into 1 billion homes with the Xbox 360. 1 billion. Of course, they backed off on that later.
Right.
But they still said that. With the Xbox One, they said that they were going to sell 200 million consoles. Win the console war. In it to win it.
Right.
They ended up selling 41, 42 million consoles.
Right.
Okay. Now they're saying they want to reach 2 billion gamers. Right? Sounds like a lot, man. Wow. But guess what? It's so far, it's the same number, even in a lockdown. If they can't reach these people in a lockdown worldwide,
when you can't go anywhere,
and you need digital entertainment, they're going to do anything different. Yeah, exactly. It's like I get it. Like everybody's talking about growing, but like gaming is already bigger than music and movies combined.
Right.
Okay. Maybe it doesn't need play The Witcher 3 while I'm taking a shit. Okay, right. And this is the thing that I want to point out, because everybody goes, no, you're wrong. Listen, how fast is it? Listen to how Xbox fans, like even PlayStation fans, can get deluded like this. Nintendo fans, Xbox fans, everybody has these grand illusions when their particular favorite company does it. Okay, like the iPod, great, right? You're an Apple fan, you love it, it succeeded. Microsoft comes out with the Zune. If you're an Xbox fan or a Microsoft fan, you probably thought the Zune was the shit.
Great.
It didn't work out.
Great.
It didn't work out, right? Just because Microsoft is your favorite company and they're doing something doesn't make it a success. Okay? Like, I don't know how else to say this, because Stadia is failing. They've already closed up all their fucking studios, canceled all their games. It's just a time stamp right now, right? We're just counting down till they totally fold up. And Microsoft is, and people might go, but it's the business thing. Microsoft has a xCloud. xCloud is with Game Pass. The casual gamers like my wife, my mom, that are playing free shit on a phone aren't going to pay. They won't even pay $1 for. I always tell my wife, why don't you just buy the game? It's $1.99. She doesn't want to pay it.
In her opinion, she's probably like, why would I?
Exactly. So these people that this grand illusion that these casual gamers that are playing Candy Crush and Pop and all this kind of weird shit on a phone for free are going to pay $180 a year to stream stuff.
To stream a game that may or may not be in the catalog that xCloud's offering, that they like or may not like.
Yeah. And I think
it's you can put the game in you want and play on xCloud. You got to play what they have in xCloud.
It's so funny. And then you look at things. Look at Luna, okay? And all these things get, like, some other company that was streaming online just closed down. It looks like Stadia is probably counting down the days. Luna, they just go, well, now we offer 720p. They probably have hardly any subscribers, right? And Game Pass doesn't either. People are like I have to like stress that enough. It seems like hardcore gamers just don't want to game that way. If you're somebody who has enjoyed that, great, good for you. But let's look at the facts here. There's a reason why this shit has never worked here. There's a reason. Yeah. Like, if you have an Xbox Series X or a PS5, why the fuck would you want to play on a little screen like that?
That's the thing.
Exactly. And listen,
these games are investing a lot of your time when you're playing. Listen, I hopped on. Shout out to Brap. This morning, Brap goes, hey, Mooch, you want to play a little bit of Outriders? So I hopped on with Brap and Slow-Mo Backslap. And we were playing a little bit. And listen, even when we said let's just play for a bit, we played for about 45 minutes. And I definitely would not have wanted to do that on my phone. Like, I can't even tell you that like, that's not even me being Mooch this or Mooch that. I have no intention of playing a game on my phone like that with my friends. Like, I want to play that on a big screen, you know? And that's the thing, Crap. You're 110% right. I do want to kind of segue to something, though, Crap. I want to ask you a question. And it does pertain to Outriders, okay?
Yeah.
Outriders has now been out for multiple weeks, and it still has a lot of problems. How long do you think a gamer should wait patiently while there's issues with the game going on? Like, where in this case, you can't, like, even crossplay. Now, crossplay is working as of today, but it's still really spotty. And even though we were able to do it this morning, it was still like we lost Brap for a little bit, and it took him a long time to jump back in. Almost takes you out of the game. Is this a problem moving forward? Like,
well,
I mean, it's
I don't
3
think
weeks
the pandemic,
or whatever, 2-3 weeks. It's a while now.
I don't think the pandemic has helped in terms of this kind of stuff, right?
You think that's part of it?
Yeah, I think it's a huge part of it, right? Like, you've got all these people probably still working from home, right? I think they're a European developer. And so they're probably all you got hundreds of people working from home trying to solve these problems. Also, what has happened with games that would normally rely on testers that come in and test these games, that now not able to really do that. So, you know, like that's part of the reason why we're seeing so much problem and so many problems. You know, it's very unfortunate. Mm-hmm. But this year, and I said this last year, I said we're going to see the effects of the whole stay-at-home stuff. Like in the years to come, not necessarily last year or maybe not even fully this year, but we're starting to notice that a lot of games are getting delayed and things like that. And that's because of that situation. I think that it is a problem. I think every game that's been sort of an online enabled game like that, from Destiny to what have you, has all had struggles with that though. I think they're just taking longer to deal with it because of the work situation and being stuck at home or whatever, you know what I mean? So yeah, I do think that that's probably the main reason why. And it does suck because I wanted to play yesterday and I asked people, I'm like, is it a go or no go? And,
well, the crossplay has been spotty. But Crap, for example, like you're playing on Xbox. So if you said, hey Mooch, let's play some Outriders, I'm on Xbox. Me and you playing on the same system is working fairly well. It's if somebody from PlayStation or the PC wanted to join your game, you're gonna have an issue or more. Yeah,
I mean that the whole crossplay thing has always been. Yeah, it's always like you're trying to bring in all these different aspects of things, you know. So like that doesn't surprise me, you know. And probably one of the reasons why it's an online game is because if you're bringing something to PC, I mean that's just where there's going to be that cheating and all that kind of stuff, you know what I mean? So you have to be a little bit more careful and things like that. So that to me is exactly why. I mean, listen, I think it's a good game. I don't think it's like the best steak since sliced bread. I'm like 6 hours in. I want to beat it and move on.
For what we're sitting through right now, Crap. We are waiting until Returnal comes out, or you're waiting for something to come out in May like Resident Evil 8. While you're sitting here waiting, this game it's fun. Do I think I'll be playing this game for 90, 100, 200 days? Probably not. But I got news for you. I'll be enjoying this right through the month of April. The Wise Old Gamer comes back in the super chat. Again, another great point by the Wise Old Gamer. He says, what people don't understand is that not every gamer is the same. The gamers we think as us, in air quotes, are only 200 million plus. The billions of people are not like us. And, you know, Wise Old Gamer, I'm glad you bring that up. I say that, maybe you're referring to it on today's subject solely, but I bring that up a lot of times. And that's why when I take a seat and I sit back And when I read an article like that came out in Bloomberg, or I read this, or I see that, before just typing or getting on the airwaves, I take a deep breath and I kind of take in the and digest that information. And I agree with what you're saying. I really do. Because when you stop and think about it, we sit here and say things like Game Pass is great. And it is. It is. But I think it's great for that 200 million right there, that maybe the hardcore camp, which is, I don't even know if the hardcore is a full 200 million. It may be. Maybe it's only 50 million that are truly the hardcore dedicated gamer, where when something comes out, they just buy it. But when I know my friends, and I don't like using small sample sizes, right? Like my friends say, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what my friends, Craft's friends, Nova's friends. That's still too small of a census to actually say that it holds merit in a large group, especially as big as the gaming's become. But I know for a fact that I have enough friends that have families, that have Xboxes, and they don't have Game Pass. They don't. And the reason they don't is because their kid likes to play Fortnite, Apex, or Warzone. Those are free games. And they're already paying enough in microtransactions to those games. They like to play NBA, Madden, or Call of Duty themselves. Mm-hmm. Right? That's what we call them casuals. But then when we use it in an argument, someone's like, well, Mooch, you can't say that. Well, why not? It actually holds water. So
yeah,
these folks of mine that I know, and I go, listen, guys, Game Pass is, you guys don't believe I say this, but I do. I'm like, Game Pass is a great deal. Right? I might even throw in a great. I might.
Yeah.
I might get excitable, crap. But
buy a box of Pop-Tarts and go. Have a good time.
Well, that's a 2-week trial. But I mean, I'm talking about, why don't these guys who have families and kids that I know, why don't they get the Game Pass? And they're like, well, we don't really play that much. And when we do play, we just play these other games. I don't really want to have $120 or $180 a year. They already have Hulu, right? They already have Netflix. They already have Disney Plus. They already have all these other things. They have, AMC Plus, NBC Plus, ABC Plus. They have all these other things they're paying for. Casual gamers that enjoy one game or enjoy Candy Crush or a Tower Defense Force on their phone, while they're sitting at a bus stop or waiting for their meeting to start, they're not going to play Destiny 2 on their phone. They don't play Destiny 2 on their 80-inch television.
Yeah.
Let alone playing it on their phone. They're casual. You can't say they're casual. Well, the casuals are going to buy in. Well, doesn't that kind of contradict the word casual? Like, if they're really excited for the games that are in the Game Pass catalog or PS Now. Like, PS Now and Game Pass are not doing well as far as I think as well as they want, because the casual's not buying in yet. The hardcore's buying in because people say it all the time. Mooch, if you were to buy Outriders, and you were to buy MLB The Show, and you were to buy one other game, it pays for Game Pass Ultimate. Isn't that worth it to you? Yes, I get that. I get it. It works for me, Crap, Nova, everyone listening, everybody listening later. But it doesn't necessarily hold water to the person who's playing Apex Legends, or just playing Fortnite, or just playing Warzone. They don't care. They don't care that MLB The Show is going into Game Pass in April. They don't care. They don't play MLB. They don't play MLB on anything. So that's what I'm trying to say. Or the 360 games. They don't play Gears. They play Warzone. They play Candy Crush. They play just that one particular game, Apex Legends. They play, you know what I mean? They don't play these other games. They play just NBA 2K. And they already own it. People are like, well, Xbox is looking to be the place to play sports games. That may be if they get NBA and Madden day one. But the fact that you can play NBA 2K21 right now, but that game came out already. That game, the people who are the enthusiasts already bought it. The fact that it's in there it's nice, but it's an afterthought. It doesn't have that core.
I agree.
You know what I mean? So yeah, that's my thing when it comes to that crap. Shout out to Wraith The Emperor. He says, keep up the good work, guys. I platinumed Outriders yesterday. Shout out to Wraith. Outstanding.
Good job.
Wish I could, man. I'm not even close to that. Yeah. I'm almost level 20 on my one character. I gotta up the ante. Game trailers. Your fucking numbers are fucking horrible.
Xbox Series X has not sold 6 million games. It's sold 2.8 million, according to the numbers that I just recently saw. So the PlayStation 5, meanwhile, has broken all records with almost 8 million sold. So your numbers are completely wrong. But again, this is coming from a guy. Game Trailers, by the way, bet me that Gears 5 would score a 95 Metacritic, and if he was wrong, he would buy me Death Stranding. So he ended up having to buy me Death Stranding. He has also been on record as saying that Crackdown 3 was going to get a 90 plus Metacritic. He said that last year Halo Infinite was going to win Game of the Year. He also said Halo Infinite wasn't going to get delayed last year, and I told him it probably would. Yeah. But he refuses to believe me. I also told him that Ori 2 would go to the Switch, and he wouldn't believe that either. He got proven wrong with that. Like, I mean, the guy literally gets proven wrong at like every single turn, and like there is absolutely zero anywhere that says that Xbox has sold 6 million units. Like, they couldn't sell 6 million units if they fucking gave them away for, you know what I mean? Like, there's just not that much interest in them. Like,
well, shout
let's
out to
just be real.
Alentius returns. He says, Mooch can keep crying, but it's not going to make Microsoft cancel Game Pass.
Nobody wants them to cancel
Mr. Returns. Nobody wants Game Pass canceled. I'm making a point on a gaming talk show, right? I'm just saying that when you look at the numbers that Microsoft would like to see, when you hear the rumors that maybe Ubisoft and maybe EA one day all become part of Game Pass, that's when Game Pass is going to shine with casuals and hardcore alike. But right now, Game Pass has been out since what, 2017? Early 2018, something like that?
Yeah.
Like 18 million? I understand the new numbers are going to come out because of the Bethesda deal, and it's probably going to be into the low to mid 20s, probably 25. Let's go 25 million. I still don't think that's where Microsoft wants to be at the end of the day. They want to be 50 plus million easy. I think they want to be at the 100, but
I don't want them to see him cancel.
They're not going to cancel Game Pass
because then I think at that point it's the end of Xbox in general. To be
because Game Pass is Xbox right now. Xbox. Is Game
Pass. The minute they can't pass, as a service, right? Which is what Microsoft wants. That's what they want to. They don't like doing hardware and all. They want to be a service. The minute they can't do that, I think is the minute they're out. So that's
an interesting point too. Because the reason they have the backing of Satya, if you listen to everything that I've heard from everybody, this isn't a me thing. The reason they have that backing of Satya and Microsoft and the war chest is because they're utilizing their strengths in their services to provide gaming for gamers moving forward. It's a double win for them. Shout out to the Wise Old Gamer, says, crap, Mooch, interesting discussion. I have to run. Time for my meds. He goes, I go back to teaching in the classroom tomorrow after 4 months. Wish me luck. We'll watch the rest of the show later. Wise Old Gamer, good luck, buddy, and thank you so much for being a part of today's show. I am just uber happy to hear that your health is doing well. So shout out to the Wise Old Gamer.
E. Murray, I want to respond to something you say. Sure. You say Game Pass. He says Game Pass is growing at a rate that makes your conversation bad. You can't get to 20 million. But let me point this out to you. I want to talk about something. So Microsoft will talk about players, not units sold, right? 24 million players have played Sea of Thieves. That's never going to go down, right? Like, despite the fact that maybe only 50,000 every day can currently play that game, that's never going to go down from the 24 million that have booted it up at one time or another and tried it. Game Pass is the same way. They're not counting current subscribers to Game Pass. They have, throughout the history of Game Pass, have had 18 million subscribers. Current subscribers, we don't know the number, but they don't have 18 million current Game Pass subscribers. So that number is never going to go down. Anybody that new that signs up gets added on top of that. So that number will never go down for investors, right? Like, if 2 more million sign up, and it really makes the real, let's just say, for example, I'm just throwing this number out there, that they have 12 million current, concurrent subscribers, but that takes them to 20 million lifetime subscribers. They're going to go with the 20 million lifetime subscribers. We've had 20 million subscribers on Game Pass. That's the numbers that they're never saying. They never give you concurrent numbers. And that's just a fact. If you want to get a good idea about how many subscribers they actually have, like, Ultimate would probably be the best way to go about that. So Game Pass Ultimate includes EA Access or EA Play. Now, EA Play had 6 million subscribers. After it got put into Game Pass Ultimate, it went up to 12 million subscribers. Why? Because there were 6 million Ultimate subscribers, right? Which you would figure would be the majority. So once again, we kind of look at this situation and go, I highly doubt, as an educated person, that there's 18 million paying concurrent Game Pass subscribers. They're giving you a number that's never going to go down, right? It's just never going to go down. That's just how it is. And so a lot of people that are looking at this as a huge, I'm not saying it's not a success. I'm just saying that the number is a little bit skewed to how they want it to look.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great response. And I think that a lot of people don't understand that. They're never going to show the minus. It's always in addition to. So when you see 18 million jump to 20 or 25 million, that's not 25 million people paying $10 a month. That's not what's actually happening. Shout out to Killer Dude 35. He says, what exactly has Microsoft done to deserve our patience? I see a company that nearly took an entire generation off. That's unacceptable, in my opinion. Shout out to Killer Dude 35. Game Shower says, wait, Xbox only sold 2.8 million and PS5 sold 8 million. Why are you lying? Crap.
I'm not lying. I mean, that's just the numbers that we've seen.
Those are the latest numbers that,
Please show me.
You can't, it's not disinformation. What you're doing is disinformation. And to be honest with you, you shoot me something on Twitter so I can read what you're saying. Show me how the numbers that Microsoft are. Show me that 18 million people are paying $10 a month.
In fact, the latest thing that I read,
I'll pose the same question to you. You can't do that either. So, go ahead, Greg.
The latest thing that I read, which was over this past week, was that Xbox Series X/S sales are slightly behind what Xbox One sales were in the same time frame. So
I saw that article. Again, listen, here's the thing. We're in a pandemic, and both companies, Microsoft and Sony, are selling almost everything they put on the shelf, or the virtual shelf crap. So they're doing the best that they can. But I think that as we progress through 2021 into early 2022, when we're, more seemingly getting a little bit more back to normal, it's going to be interesting, isn't it? I think it's going to be very interesting. So he doesn't. So Aluntius returns. He doesn't believe the 2.8. But that was an article. Crap. There, you could post that on Twitter. That was an
I'm
article.
Looking for it right now.
Oh, believe me, Crap's got it. Trust me.
Yeah, I've got it somewhere. Let me see here. Actually, yeah, this is from the Game Industry Biz.
Yes.
Actually, so a new report suggests supply constraints have data from Ampere suggested Xbox Series XS has sold 2.8 million units since launching in November, lagging a little behind the Xbox One during the same post-launch timeframe, which had 2.9 million. So yeah, that's very much sort of what we kind of expected. And again, hold on, I will point this out. This article is actually from February.
Go ahead, post it right in the chat there, so Aluntius can enjoy the read.
Yeah,
it is what it is. We do a talk show, Aluntius. You know what I mean? We're not on anybody's payroll. We're just doing a show. So we read it, we discuss it. There's the article right there. Enjoy the reading. So not confirmed numbers. I had people telling me earlier not confirmed numbers for sales of games.
Dude,
on the other side.
What do you think this dude is saying?
Just stop it.
Yeah. What do you think this dude is saying that's trying to say 6 million? Like, get out of here, man.
Come on. Stop it.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Let's just be, you just got to be real with it. If you're going to try to go one way or the other, it's just one of those things where it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Like, listen, Xbox is what it is. Like, there's no way that it's going to beat PlayStation in sales because PlayStation is a worldwide brand, you know? So.
That's true too. That is true.
Yeah.
Speaking of worldwide brand, though, crap, we should talk about the Kojima thing just for a moment because it is a big deal. And we're hearing now that the Kojima deal may very well be something that is happening. Like they're saying that the lawyers have the documentation in hand, according to the great Jeff Grubb. He said that now it hasn't been signed, but it said that the documentation's in hand. And I'm paraphrasing there. Shout out to Jeff. Jeff's always doing some fun, interesting reporting. I always enjoy reading his takes. And I don't think this is a bad thing at all. I think this is a good thing.
The interesting thing here is now there's this rumor that comes up that basically points out that the reason why this happened was because Sony turned down the game. So this is a rumor coming from gaming.
Really?
Gaming Bolt, yeah. This is coming from Gaming Bolt. Kojima went to Sony for his next game first, but they turned him down. New potential details emerge in the wake of recent rumors of an Xbox Kojima partnership. Hideo Kojima has been closely associated with the PlayStation brand. He immediately signed on with Sony for Death Stranding after leaving
Konami.
His previous Konami, a PlayStation console exclusive. Recent reports, however, have suggested that there might be a major paradigm shift coming soon, and that allegedly Xbox and Kojima are close to signing a deal. Pretty surprising twist if it does end up happening, and many have been left to wonder why Kojima is pivoting from Sony to Microsoft. Well, apparently that may not have been his first choice. In a recent episode of Xbox Error Insider podcast, Special Ed, I guess that's his name, stated that Kojima Productions originally went to Sony to pitch for their next game. However, Sony was not satisfied with how Death Stranding did commercially, and as such turned down the offer to work with Kojima again. It also suggested Kojima may have been in talks with Google and Stadia for a while, owing to the fact that his game apparently makes a lot of use of cloud technology, but that ultimately talks with Microsoft progressed further. The Microsoft Kojima deal is apparently close to being completed, so if it does happen, we'll probably hear about it soon. So this is like something that has come up. I mean, take it with a grain of salt, but we do know that Kojima had a game canceled, right? And supposedly this might be a episodic type game or something. I don't know, but for me personally, I guess it kind of makes sense. Like, I don't understand the benefit outside of having the name Kojima. Like, Xbox fans, and we talked about this in Crossfire, even I think Xbot was saying it doesn't make sense because Xbox fans didn't like Death Stranding. They made fun of it. They don't like walking simulators or cinematic games, right? Like, so what would be the point of them investing money to get, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand what the point would be, but yeah, I mean, it does seem like maybe, like, again, we heard from people, what was it, like, Dreamcast guy, he's like, here's a here's a fucking with some glue on it, you know what I mean? What did he say? A paperclip with glue. Like, right. It's like it's a situation like that, you know what I mean? Like, right. The guy does something like how would you even describe Death Stranding? Like, people ask me to describe it, and I'm like, you can't. You know, it's like, it's one of those things. But you got to give the guy, if he wants the freedom. Like, the problem is giving people total freedom to do stuff. You might end up investing poorly because nobody's going to understand it or want to buy it. You know what I mean? Right. To this day, right. Like, I love the Metal Gear Solid franchise, but to this day, Metal Gear Solid 2, the ending makes absolutely no fucking sense to me. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, it is one of those weird situations that we're in where, we kind of have to question that and see exactly, what they're talking about or whatever. Like, it would make sense, but like, Kojima doesn't have a lot of other options, it would seem.
Crap.
Right? Where else is he going to go?
I can explain the ending of Metal Gear Solid 2 to you, but it would take me about 30 minutes. So
exactly.
I'm just saying, exactly. It's pretty complicated.
Like, pull up a drink. You're gonna need it.
Yeah. It's extremely convoluted. But I just wanted to just add one thing in here. Like we talked about on Crossfire, I don't think it's out of the possibility. As we know, Microsoft has that bag, and if and also I just want to add the news about Jim Ryan denying Kojima's next follow-up title actually isn't new news. I remember reading about it, I want to say like sometime in the summertime. I actually can probably send you an article, but it's not new. But again, we haven't heard what's happened since then. So this is definitely in the cards, possibly. So just want to throw that in there.
Yeah, let me see. A couple of great super chats here. The Great Game Trailers is back. He says, you're telling me that Xbox only sold 2.8 million in 6 months? ROFL. So he's not buying into it. Glinster says there are certain products eBay and Amazon won't allow to be sold on their sites. Imagine if they did that for consoles and GPUs. That's interesting. And the Ravenflow says Microsoft took PlayStation table scraps with Sunset Overdrive 2. So, that's one thing we'll find out, shout out to E. Murray. I really appreciate this last note he just said here. He said, let me say this. I watched you guys I watched you guys or listened for years, he says. So I'm not mad at your points of view, Mooch and Crap. Listen, E. Murray, thank you. And the reason I want to bring that up is E. Murray, I've always respected you as well. Outstanding person in the community. And listen, you don't have to agree. That's the best part about doing a show. I enjoy having the audience have counterpoints. I enjoy people on the panel on Crossfire having counterpoints. There's a lot of times I'll go into a Friday show. Crap, I've told you this a number of times. I told Nova this just this morning. There's times I'll go into a Crossfire and I'm like, man, this is firmly what I believe. And then I'll leave the show after talking to some people on the panel and I'll go, man, that's a great point. I didn't even think of that. Yeah. I'm glad somebody brought that up. And that's happened between me and you on this show where you firmly believed on something. I firmly believed on something. And maybe it wasn't the same day. Maybe it was a week. Maybe it was a month later. You go, Mooch, honestly, I've been thinking about what you said. That's a good point. And I said the same thing to you. That's the thing about these shows that are fantastic is I think when you tune into a show like MNC or Crossfire, what's fun about it is that I don't want you guys to believe what I'm saying. I want you to have your own points of view. And I think between the super chats and the chat today, it has been absolutely outstanding. And there's been some really good points brought up on all sides. And that's what makes a great show, in my opinion.
Definitely. I agree. Just like you have to be able to understand. Like, here's the thing. And when I was like a hardcore Xbox fanboy, I just wouldn't accept anybody else's opinion. And so many other people are just afraid to kind of step back and go, well, that person might be right. Like, they would rather call you a fearmonger or something along those lines, right? Like, and I think that's really a shame because I'm willing to listen to opinions. Listen, I'm not saying, like I've always said, in a few years' time, Xbox might be the fucking bee's knees,
absolutely,
right? When they're dropping these games, yes. But we're not there yet. Where we're at right now is almost 600 days without a AAA exclusive, and you know what I mean. Like, that has to be accounted for, in my opinion.
That's right.
So like until they have the most to prove, until they consistently put out great games, consistently, not just one, right? Then I think that it still bears worth talking. That we're in a situation where they really have to kind of step their game up, and they have the most to prove. Absolutely, the most to prove. Listen, 343. They're on a steady downward trend with Halo. They have they have a lot to prove. Coalition kind of staying the same, but like in the lower end of what like Gears used to be a 90+ rated, high sought after franchise, right? Like, they have a lot to prove. Let's be real.
They do.
Forza 7 took a step back from 6. A lot to prove right there. A lot to prove.
But you know what Crap's saying, and if it shouldn't upset anybody on either side of the coin. What Crap's saying is, by them having a lot more to prove right now, is great for you, the consumer. They should be giving a better product for your dollar, right? And that makes that should make you happy, not upset. And exactly. That's my point here, Crap. Is I think that's you saying that. I see some people in the chat and they're saying, well, Crap, that's not true, or it's not like that. These companies don't have to prove it. They do. And that goes for the PlayStation side too. Okay, it's not just one. And if you look at it, look at all the. I'm picking this out of thin air, but a lot of people weren't really happy, Crap, with like Killzone, right? Any of the Killzones. It always felt like a second-rate like type of shooter game, right?
Yeah, I mean, Killzone 2 was pretty good.
Well, look at how they upped the ante and proved themselves. Horizon, right? So, like, that's the part I think that Crap's talking about, and I'm just picking that out of thin air. I'm just picking that out of thin air.
Like, listen. It's like they do. Like, how can you say they don't have anything to prove? They literally haven't released anything in almost 2 years,
right?
AAA wise, and they've released 3 consoles in that time. Don't you think they got to prove that they can actually get us content for their hardware? They haven't had a game up for like a Game of the Year award for a decade. Don't you think that they got to prove that they can compete, and that they want to compete, and and that they have the leadership to go out there and put out great games? Because so far we haven't seen it.
No,
we haven't seen it.
No, we haven't. And I'll be honest with you. Again, I'm hoping for the best. I really am hoping for the best. But do we expect Halo Infinite to be amazing when it's been delayed for a year and so many management changes in the past 12 months, and they brought in Joseph Staten? There's a lot going on. There's a lot happening at 343. Some of it is much warranted. By the way, I think what they're doing right now is awesome. I like that they moved some of the upper management out, get new people in there. Get Joseph Staten, who's like, he bleeds and sweats Halo. Get that man in there. Shout out to the Ravenflow. He says Xbox just made a deal with McDonald's and Spotify. That's a win. Well, I saw that. There is a deal. I'm sure that's going to tie Game Pass into something. Game Trailer says, if Returnal gets a 70, Crap Gamer, keep the same energy you gave Halo 5, a 9.25
I probably wouldn't even buy it.
Listen, I got news for you.
This is the thing, Mooch. Like, people don't understand. Like, I didn't buy Godfall. You know what I mean? I don't have that game.
I did. I think ended up getting it for $23 on sale. I bought it a few weeks ago. I tweeted it out.
I'm going to see how these games do. If it doesn't,
I didn't care. By the way, I didn't care for Godfall. I know the great Jay Barry was not happy with my assessment of that on Friday, but I did not care for it. Crap.
If it doesn't tick the boxes, man, and it doesn't do well, like, you know, I'm talking like this, like that studio is known for doing, like, this is their first like big venture with a big game, right? But all their other stuff has been really well received and done really well, like that Ex Machina game and of course Resogun.
I think really, even if it gets a 75 or a 78, even an 80, I myself personally, from what I'm seeing in the gameplay, game trailers, I'm excited for Returnal. Personally, only me. Not speaking for Crap.
It looks good.
Or Nova.
Yeah, it looks good. Yeah,
I think it looks good. I think it looks like fast-paced action. I like it. Yeah, the reviews are going to matter to a lot of people. I think the reviews are going to... You know what, Crap? Let me take it a step further. The reviews are almost going to impact the decision on whether people are going to accept the $70 price tag.
Yeah.
If it was $60 and it's still got a 78, I bet you that affects sales versus 78 Metacritic and it's $70. I bet it drops.
Yeah, like for me, I'm looking for something above 80.
It has to be over. I was going to say, people are looking for above an 80 to justify the $70 price tag. Game Trailer says Gears Tactics is a AAA game. I think we already went over that, Game Trailers. But thank you.
We already
and he says that. Uncharted 4 got delayed 4 times, and it got good scores, my dude. He goes, when Sony make a good multiplayer game, Crap, when Sony does need to make a multiplayer game. I think they're going to come out with Factions sometime in 2021.
Again, though, but let me just point this out. When this isn't the Xbox 360 era anymore, where Xbox has the best multiplayer games. Halo 3 is long dead. Gears of War 1, 2, and 3 long dead, right? Like, this isn't that era anymore. Third-party developers are making the best multiplayer games right now. Your Warzone, your Call of Duty, your Battlefield, your Fortnite, your Apex. Like, those, hands down, those are where everybody wants to be. That's why they're so popular. Okay? Yeah. So Sony is very smart to offer what third parties aren't doing very well. Amazing single-player narrative experiences.
It's a really good point. That's a really good point.
So, and this is why it's okay for them to sort of get out of the niche game experience, because indies and AA developers are going to do that still, and you get that shit for free instead of paying your own developers for it, right? Like, and I think that's probably the biggest difference. Like, you know what I mean? That's the best way I can. They don't have to do multiplayer game. I mean, they're going to do some, obviously. Factions is probably coming this year, by the way. And I'm really looking forward to that, to be quite frank.
Well, Crap, I can tell you right now. So to get the platinum and 100% The Last of Us remastered, which I got, you have to play. I think the calculated number was like 32 hours or something like that of Factions. I love Factions. I played the hell of it on PS3 when it came out, and I played the hell of it on. I
remember, because you and me used to disagree back when we were both big PS4. Xbox fanboys. Yep. You used to be like, absolutely. Yeah, but I gotta be honest. I love Factions.
I do, man. There's something about the way that the 4v4 team, the way that it synchronizes, and you have to stay together, and the crafting that's on the go. It's mesmerizing. I love it. I do. If you haven't played Factions, please don't be turned off by the fact that it's still basically a game that came out in 2013. Even if you're playing the remaster, it's still a 2013 type of mechanic. So don't be frustrated with that, but enjoy it for what it is, and then see what they can do. Shout out to Jack Gamer. He says, got dinner. We'll catch up later, Mooch. Appreciate that. And Game Trailer says, Call of Duty is better than Gears. Laughed my ass off. He says he's not agreeing with us there. Did you say that, Crap? I didn't hear if you said that, but
I said, well, Gears is long. I mean, let's look at it. Was he disagreeing with that statement?
I think he's disagreeing with that statement.
I mean, we can check the numbers. Doesn't Call of Duty have like 30 million people playing? And if I check the charts right now on Steam, there's like not even 3,000 people on Gears.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think it's pretty. I mean, if you
says Returnal equals Recore, my dude. I understand where you're coming from with some of the shooting mechanics because it's a flow. It's got like that Contra flow. Game trailers. I see where you're coming from, but that's a far stretch at this point, especially House Marquee's impeccable record so far with a lot of people in the gaming world, not our world. I mean, publishers and developers and platforms, they just have a lot of respect for House Marquee. So I don't believe that's an apples to apples. I understand where you're coming from, and that's fine. But I wouldn't die on that hill quite yet. Now listen, Desmeezy, he says Mooch is making me want to play factions now. It's fun. It is a lot of fun. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe we'll do that then. Maybe we'll do a Twitch where I stream that and we get a crew together and you guys can just watch. It's a lot of fun, man. It really is a hell of a game. I do recommend you guys go try it out. Yeah, I don't know. I think that this has been an outstanding episode, by the way. Crap, we are over the 2-hour mark, and I apologize I kept you guys here for a while. Yeah. But I do want to say thank you to everybody. I want to say thanks to the great Nova Insomniacs, the great Crap Gamer who's here. Outstanding amount of super chats, and I want to thank you all so much, everyone in the chat as well, for being such a big part of the show. Again, guys, we don't have any. There's no holidays that I can see coming up. I think we might have what is it? We have Memorial Day weekend in May, but I don't see anything in the near future. So we shall be here every Sunday. Next Sunday will be on Crap's channel, Crap Gamer Reviews. But I want to say thanks to everybody. And next week. Or the week after, we'll do. I have a few things that I don't want to speak for Crap's channel, but next time we have it on my channel, I'll have a giveaway for all of you guys too. We'll do something to kind of just welcome the MNC regular routine schedule back to your everyday Sunday morning. Yeah, Crap. I don't know if you have any plugs or anything you want to say.
No, I'm done.
Crap's done, guys. Crap's done. And the great Nova, anything you would like to add?
Yes, you can catch me every Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern on youtube.com/Nova Insomniac altogether. And yeah, I'll be joined by my boys C $sign and Cool Hand Cruz on the Insomniacs podcast. Check me out there. I'll drop my YouTube in the chat for you guys.
Yes, please do. Check out Nova. Go over there and please do subscribe to Nova. Guys, hit the like button too while you're here. Please consider hitting that subscribe button. It means the world to the Mooch. Crap had mentioned it on Twitter. I'll mention it here, and then I forgot to mention it on Friday's show. But I am going to be doing some new stuff with the channel. I've been working so hard and diligently behind the scenes with a graphic artist and also the great J Matrix 76 at J Matrix 76. Go check him out as well. He's been helping me out. Looking to do some new fun stuff on the channel. Just kind of really give some neat things and different perspectives in the gaming community. Hope you guys will be here for the ride. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. It means the world to the Mooch. We'll see you guys on Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern time for Crossfire, and then we'll see you guys 11:30 a.m. Eastern time on Crap's channel for MNC Mornings next week. Guys, enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace out.
Peace out. Later.